Emeka during the interview, what are the structures put in place to ensure that the championship gets private investments or private sponsorship. And I could recall Emeka talking about the fact that it has been single-handedly sponsored by the governor. So as it is, there may not be any need to rally around private sponsorship and all that. But at some point, he had to agree that yes, the federation itself, that's the Nigerian Wrestling Federation, needs private sponsorship. Wrestling is growing in the country, so well-meaning and corporate bodies can step in and decide to sponsor. That's true. But what are the structures on ground already that will attract that sponsorship? What have the federation done? Because right now, it's no longer a thing of Governor Siraki Dixon. You need to give a man a reason to put his money where he wants to put it. If I want to continue funding this wrestling after I'm done or after I'm out of the office, what are the reasons given to me to ensure that whatever means I'm going to get money, either from my personal business, I'll keep investing. Nobody invests in a business where he doesn't expect to get profit. So what are the structures? What have the federation done to ensure that Governor Siraki Dixon, as that after now he'll be an ex-governor, will still be interested in sponsoring that championship? That is the question we should even be deliberating, because many have talked about the fact that private sponsorship needs to come into Nigerian football, for instance. Maybe sponsor the league. Now, if we have more private companies investing in our football, it will see growth in our football. The TV coverage and everything we are talking about, we will have it. But do we have a structure? Do we have a development? Do we have a ground that will attract these people? Do we have, what's the word now? Just for lack of words, do we really have that quality that will attract these people to think of investing their money in it? What are the returns that they will be getting? Because nobody will want to invest his or her money in a league whereby season in, season out, there's no consistency in terms of programming. There's no consistency in terms of administration. We keep getting administrative tussle and all that. The whole league has been, overwhelmed or swallowed by politics and all that. So a businessman will reconsider putting his money there. So do we really have this structure that will attract this man? Because at that time, he will be sponsoring from his personal money, from his cash. Now, he's sponsoring the wrestling now because he's a governor. The credit is that this is what this man achieved in office when he was a governor. And that's the credit. But afterward, what are there that will interest him to keep on sponsoring? That's the job the question for the Wrestling Federation to answer.
At the end of the championship, of course, Bayelsa State finished with 8 gold, 6 silver, 8 bronze, with a total of 198 points. In first place, seconded by Delta State with 7 gold, 7 silver, and 1 bronze medals, 141 points. They acquired right there. In third place is Ondo State with 6 gold, 3 silver, 3 bronze, with a total of 111 points. And in fourth place is Edo State, 1 gold, 3 silver, and 6 bronze medals with 85 points right there. Of course, Victor, are you surprised? Are you shocked that just on the last day, Ondo State were topping? At some point, they finished in third place. Bayelsa State, Delta State finished in second place.
Yes, I was actually shocked, particularly with the Ondo State. When you talk about the pedigree of wrestlers that Ondo have, talk about that lady herself, the 25-year-old Odunayo Adekuroye. I mean, she represents Ondo State, and also so many other beautiful names. I mean, well-decorated wrestlers right here in Nigeria representing the state. And when I saw them topping, I said, okay, definitely, it was expected. And all of a sudden, Bayelsa State, they just seem to have been this rejig and this breath of life brought back into the team, and eventually they were able to get the job done and finish with more golds or more points rather, because that's how they used to compile the points, not just about the golds and the silver. But then very good one for Bayelsa State. Ondo State, I said they were going to go all out. I remember before the Wrestling Federation, I actually gave it all the way to Ondo State, but I guess I was wrong. It looks like this period, this time, it's very difficult for you to take a bet on who is going to actually win in all sports. I've got to tell you that. But then, good one for Bayelsa State. I mean, they are the host nation, they are the host state rather, and we're able to finish top of top on the medal table. Very good one for them and good one for the administration. Every single wrestler that participated. Let's see how, although them finishing top doesn't really guarantee that quite a number of their wrestlers will be representing the state. But then right now the Gordon Dixon Classic is done and dusted. Our focus now should be at the African Games that will be holding in Rabat, Morocco.
And of course, over now to tennis we go this afternoon. Where Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal reached the fourth round at Wimbledon with straight set victories over French opponent. Spanish world number 2 Nadal, a two-time winner at SW19, defeated Joao Flesonga 6-2, 6-3, 6-2. Eight-time Wimbledon champion Roger Federer beat Lucas Pouille 7-5, 6-2, 7-6. Nadal will play Portugal's João Sousa, who beat Britain's Dan Evans in the next round, while Federer will take on Italy's Matteo Berrettini. It was the first time Nadal had played Songa at the All England club and their first meeting since 2015. And of course, while victory over Pouille saw Federer become the first player to achieve 350 Grand Slam singles win right there. And of course, Ken Nishikori also won his game right there. Novak also through to the next round as well. Some of the big names are still very much in the mix, except for the supposed next gens who have found their way home. But of course, let's start with the golden oldies. Let me call them that. Roger Federer, Nadal and Djokovic doing their thing very well, strutting their stuff. A potential semi-final matchup between Nadal and Federer still very much in the mix. But of course, so far so good. These guys are dispatching their opponents with ease.
Yeah, it tells you the quality they have, irrespective of the fact that they are getting, older by the day. But that quality and that experience is still right there for them. I saw Roger Federer play yesterday. I saw Nadal. I didn't get to see Novak Djokovic. Joao Songa wasn't much of an opponent, so to speak, for Rafael Nadal. He was able to dispatch him at some point. In the matchup, it was like Songa was trying to, rejuvenate, but unfortunately for him, he couldn't find his rhythms, and then Nadal was able to do that one in style. So the quality that these veterans have, in tennis is unmatchless at the moment. None of the supposed or the expected next generation of tennis are able to match it. Even if when a certain Tsitsipas or a certain Alexander Zverev get to defeat maybe Nadal or Djokovic or Federer in any of the tournament, it's more of a flash in the pan, or more of a tennis player living his dream or just enjoying the moment. I said that I could still recall vividly after Tsitsipas defeated Roger Federer in Australian Open, at the semi-finals. I said that it wasn't that Tsitsipas was really, really good, very technical, but it was just a point in time where he finds himself in that bracket that he seems to have upper hand over Roger Federer, and he was able to capitalize it, then fix both of them again afterward. When both are well conscious of what happened previously, will Tsitsipas be able to do this again? And that was proven to be true. It was unable to do it because they met again, I think, some point at the final. So none of them are able to match what these veterans bring to the table at the moment. And where it is going, until they leave, I keep saying it, until they leave the scene, until they leave the game, we're not going to have anyone exercise such a dominance just as these three have held the sport to ransom. They are progressing right now. All the supposed next gen for me are all out because, Songa, I wouldn't really put Joao Songa in that bracket. No, he's not there. So the next gens are out, all of them.
Old Songa.
So they're all out, and I think this particular season of Wimbledon is giving us some surprises as it is. It's just what is peculiar to Wimbledon. It hasn't fallen short of what we expect from a tournament like Wimbledon. So that is what it is at the moment. Let's just wait and see the progress of these three. What pains me at this point is that Federer will get to meet Nadal, somewhere at the semi-finals. Why am I saying is a pain? Not because I'm favoring any of them, but I would have really preferred to see both of them go head-to-head in a final rather than a semi-final. Although a semi-final is still a pick to watch them play, but I'd have really loved to see a Federer-Roger final or a Djokovic Federer final or Djokovic Nadal final is very likely, but I would have preferred to see a Federer Roger final, another a Federer final rather than a semi-final. But that is what it is according to the draws, and we know how the draws of Wimbledon is being done. Is being considered your grass court development over 2 years. Is always being considered. It's not just like a normal ranking, and that is the result of what we are getting right now. A possible matchup between Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal. So until they step up their quality, they can't match what these veterans bring to the table.
And of course, elsewhere, 8-seed Ken Nishikori beat American Steve Johnson 6-4, 6-3, 6-2. Tennis Sandgren defeated Fabio Fognini 6-3, 7-6, 6-3, and will play American compatriot Sam Querrey next after he beat John Miniman in straight set. In the women's place, Serena Williams still very much in the mix. She saw off Julia Georges yesterday. A good player when it comes to grass courts. And of course, hugging the headlines, talking about Cory Coco Gauff, the lady doing her thing pretty good. Well, so far so good. She's doing her thing. Up next for her is Simona Halep.
It gets tougher for Cory Coco Gauff, but I've got to tell you, Top Striker, I don't think I've enjoyed the tennis match, particularly in the women's play, than I did, and that should be on Friday. Yes, when Cory Coco Gauff actually played. Beautiful display, amazing. I was so surprised. I mean, this is a 15-year-old with her play, her style of tennis, oozing confidence of a 5-time Grand Slam winner. Amazing stuff right there for the youngster.
7-time Grand Slam winner.
7-time Grand Slam winner. Okay, but really amazing stuff right there for Cory Coco Gauff, and I think there's just something unique about her. It's not the normal way we see and say, okay, this person over time they will eventually fade out. I don't think it's going to be that way with Cory Gauff. We saw that in that when she played on Friday, she had Serena Williams' manager, Serena Williams' coach rather, just sitting beside her father, who is actually her coach, and you can tell that very soon. I won't be shocked if he will be coaching her.
Patrick Mouratoglou discovered her. It was the academy that discovered her.
Yeah. I mean, the future is really bright for the youngster. Her backhand strokes are something that you've got to be worried for. They are pretty scary, but they get the job done, and it gets tougher for her. If she's able to defeat Simona Halep, Top Striker, she might just go all the way. I mean, without a shadow of doubt, I don't think I would say it's going to be Simona Halep, because when I saw her recovering from that particular match, I mean, she was one set down. The second set, she was losing 5 goals to 5-2, and then eventually she was able to win that set, and eventually also got the third set as well. Beautiful stuff right there for her. Let's see how it goes from here. That's what is most important, and if she's able to build on the future, on the successes that she has had and the amazing run that she has had. But talking about the men's play, Roger Federer once again, I mean, that Swiss maestro doing what he knows how to do best. In 19 Grand Slams, this is the 17th time that Roger Federer is going past the third round. Amazing stuff right there, amazing statistics for that man, and now he has become the only tennis player, be it male or female, to register 350 matches win, particularly in 3 Grand Slams, 3 matches win in the Grand Slams, 350 matches won in the Grand Slam. Beautiful statistics, and it looks like we might just, the question about who is going to take over when these guys retire, it's pretty dicey. I was listening to an interview with Roger Federer earlier this week, and he said that he's going to be sitting in his couch knowing that the future of tennis is in safe hands, because when he watches Stefanos Tsitsipas play, when he watches Dominic Thiem play, that he's pretty sure that the future of tennis is in safe hands. But I'm not as confident as he is about the future of tennis, because I mean, these next generation players, we call them next gen. Over time, they've shown us that they can really be, I don't know how to put it, they falter to deceive you. Expect them to do something, and I mean, we saw how many of them getting knocked out of the first round in the Wimbledon. Really not so good for them.
Most of the big names have also had their fair share of first round knockout as well.
Well, true, but the truth is we keep seeing this over time. It's when there was
a certain Dustin Brown that knocked out Nadal in 2014.
I remember that particular match. But we keep seeing times where these guys, they have an impressive run. I mean, they probably beat one of the 3 greatest male tennis players there is currently, either Rafael Nadal, Roger Federer, or Novak Djokovic, and then going to the next game, they just lose, and it's really, really humiliating. And really, I've not really been impressed with the next gens. Let's see how they eventually hold their own, but Roger Federer saying that the future of tennis is in safe hands. I don't buy into that.
Well, it can as well mean that when they leave, there are others who will take over. Now, here is the thing. Probably
it might turn out to be the women's play, different winners, different tournaments every day.
but you know that we have, if it's in terms of talent in men's tennis, we have a lot of them. Tsitsipas is very promising. I think for me, he has been the one that stands out.
Please don't tell me Kyrgios is also promising.
I was just about to talk about Nick Kyrgios. I
didn't even go there. I don't even want to mention.
No, the truth is, Nick Kyrgios is actually. I feel he's a good tennis player, but his attitude problem, is what will bring him to his downfall. Yeah. I mean, we see every single match. This guy.
What has brought him? What is bringing him down?
But
because it's no longer. You cannot call him. You cannot call him next rated.
Exactly.
The thing is,
still bringing him down. But eventually, it will finish him completely. You know when you play Mortal Kombat and say finishing, that's exactly what he's going to be doing to Nick Kyrgios. Because over time, this guy goes into every game, and I'm just wondering, okay, what would Nick Kyrgios do? I was watching that particular match. Was it against Nadal? And I was like, let me just see what Nick Kyrgios would do. And of course, he had the vocal confrontation with the umpire. Something that is so he does it all the time, and it looks like for him, there's nothing wrong with it. I think the tennis association or the tennis federation, they need to come together and give him they need to put him in check, give him a sanction, suspend him, give him I don't know what they've got to do.
Everybody must not be soft spoken like a Federer.
You know, the thing is, does he care? See, there are ambitious tennis players. The likes of Zverev is quite ambitious. I could recall Hopman Cup finals that he played against Federer. It was mixed double. I could recall him telling Federer, please, could you just leave the scene for us so that the hair.
Exactly.
So this is an ambitious tennis player, but Kyrgios doesn't look like a man that cares. I think he's comfortable and satisfied with what he's getting, and he's just not interested in moving forward upper than that particular level, so he doesn't care. But just to leave that now, I'm still talking about this next gen issue. I think we may not really have, maybe for a time or for a long time, we may not really have a Roger Federer that will give us 20 Grand Slams, or we may not really have a Nadal that will give us, I think 18 now, 18 Grand Slams, or a Djokovic. But when they say that it's in safe hands, you may want to agree, because we have tennis players who are ambitious and they want to do something for themselves. They'll win, and there will still be a name for you to look out for. There will still be Alexander Zverev for you to think of. When there's a match, involving Zverev, you'll be interested to watch. When there is a match involving Tsitsipas, you will want to see it. So when you have names like this, that keep giving you reason to tune your TV and watch them, or keep hugging the headlines, or give us something to discuss and talk about, then it means the sport is progressing. But when it gets to a particular point in time where it looks like stars in the sport are extinct, then you could say that particular sport is not in safe hands.
So we're talking tennis this afternoon. And of course, Serena Williams says that she felt like she wanted to watch her highly anticipated Wimbledon mixed doubles match with Andy Murray rather than play in it, and we try to see a video of their win. American Williams and Britain's Murray entertained the center court with a 6-4, 6-1 win over Germany's Andreas Mears and Chile's Alexa Garucci. And of course, she said, this match I was so hyped that I want to see it. According to Williams, we have a lot we want to get better on as a team. Williams and Scott, who is 32, made the dream start to a blockbuster partnership that has been one of the main talking points at the All England Club this fourth night. Anticipation had been high for their first appearance together, which was delayed until Saturday evening after Friday's play on center court, and Courtois moved the match back a day. And of course, Wisdom.
It's all right.
Victor. She said the match was so much hyped. Even she wanted to sit down and watch. I think that's the power of the British media when it involves one of their own. Like I said, I wasn't joking when I said the good thing Corey Goff is not from Britain. Perhaps the media would have given her the impression that she's the best player in the world. But of course, Williams and Murray partnered together. They won that game yesterday, 6-4, 6-1. She said she's going to go back to watch the clips again because it was so hyped that she would have wished to sit on the stands to also watch the game. Good one for Andy Murray. He didn't take part in the singles, but in the doubles, some people rejected to play with him, but he has Williams accepted, and they got off to a bright start.
Well, that's the truth. Beautiful stuff right there. I actually saw a little bit of highlights, glimpse of that particular match. I mean, the mixed doubles and the partnership between Serena Williams and Sir Andy Murray is actually unprecedented. Both of them are. You can't deny the fact that they are beautiful tennis players. Although Andy Murray has had his fair share of downs, particularly in his tennis world. But then Serena Williams, who has been stuck with she has not been able to win any Grand Slam since in the Australian Open 2018. That was why she was still pregnant. But now she's trying to do something, trying to see if she can actually get this Wimbledon in the bag, and also very actively involved in the mixed doubles. I think it's really great for her, and the fact that when you make these kind of, just like you said, the British media, they have the power to do and undo, and they could make you a bad guy in a twinkle of an eye from nothing. From one little statement, you could just be made a bad guy. And right now, the British media are actually coming out in full force and saying that Serena Williams should keep her off-court life away from the court, because I mean, you see her sometimes while playing, she goes to get her daughter to check up on her daughter, and they're like, okay, come on, keep your life on court, off the court. And that's actually something that the British media are able to do. But I mean, about the hype of the match, that match was actually really, really hyped. From 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, when Serena Williams agreed to partner with Andy Murray, you could actually see everywhere. And it's the power of media and the fact that the Britons, they know how to do this really well. But it was a really good match, I've got to tell you, and they won comfortably. Let's see if she would be able to make it 2/2. Maybe get the women's single, get Wimbledon women's single, and also clinch the trophy with Andy Murray in the mixed doubles. It might just be possible if it's Serena Williams here.
And of course, over now to basketball we go this afternoon. And of course, the Toronto Raptors, the head coach Nick Nurse, said he understood why Kawhi Leonard decided to leave the team after winning an NBA championship, but admitted being disappointed that Leonard and the rest of the Toronto Raptors 2018-2019 roster won't be able to try to defend their crown together next season. Leonard will join the LA Clippers on a 4-year deal worth $144 million, according to league sources right there on ESPN. They said, I think you can't blame a guy for wanting to go home. Not said on Saturday night at the Las Vegas Summer League. That's what he texted me today. I'm going home. And I just said, you've changed a lot of lives, man, by what you have accomplished in Toronto, mine especially, and thanked him for what he did, and will look to the future and will look to win a title again. Nasser said the possibility of Leonard leaving was always something the organization was aware of from the mentioned moment it acquired him from San Antonio Spurs last summer. Nasser said he was hanging out with a couple of members of his staff when he got the news that Leonard, who grew up in Southern California, was leaving Toronto to play for the Clippers. He said, I was just hanging out with a couple of assistants, and now said, got the text message and then got the news report quickly afterward. I'm not totally surprised. I think we all knew that Leonard leaving was a situation that could happen. He delivered big time, played his heart out for us. We certainly are going to release this championship for a long time, and we are going to stop celebrating it pretty soon. Not quite yet, but then we'll get back to work. I mean, we get a tremendous challenge ahead of us next season, but I always say that the challenge is our field and the tank is certainly full, so we got a change for some guys to expand their roles, so maybe that wouldn't have had happened else. When of course Kawhi Leonard opted to join the LA Clippers in a 4-year deal worth $104 million, and of course he told the Clippers to go get him one guy, Paul George, also a native of California. And of course, the Clippers have traded 7 players, including 2 first-team players, not forgetting Danilo Gallinari, a starter for the team last season, to acquire Paul George. And Paul George is bound for LA Clippers. Paul George just signed a 5-year contract with the Oklahoma City Thunder last season. 1 year down the line, he's opting to go to the Clippers, the Miracles and the play power in the NBA. And of course, the super team, They say the new mecca of basketball is now in Los Angeles. Down the road, you have LeBron James.
Yeah.
You have Anthony Davis. You have Boogie Cousins has joined the Lakers. Lakers did about 6 signings yesterday. The other half of Los Angeles, the same building, they share the same stadium. They have Kawhi Leonard, they have Paul George. Right now, it's all about LA. So both teams are already odds-on favorites to win the NBA title. So right now, I don't know what you make about this move. Kawhi Leonard kept everybody waiting. In fact, I said he's a really free agent. He took his time. He met with 3 teams: Lakers, Clippers, and the Raptors. He made up his mind late Friday night that is bound for the Clippers. Any surprises from you?
Well, somehow, I wanted Kawhi for some reasons, to join the Lakers.
What reasons?
For some reasons, which I wouldn't love to say on air. I wanted him to join Lakers, but he chose to go otherwise. He chose to go to Clippers. Not still bad, still neighbors, just like you mentioned. And I think for Toronto Raptors, I'm sure it wouldn't be surprising for them because Kawhi was almost going to leave, or always going to leave, rather. That was one of the risks that Masai Ujiri took when he brought him in because there was no certainty.
Just to add to what you're saying.
Yeah.
One of these risks involved in trading a player.
Yeah.
If the player has 1 year and you're trading for him, and you are giving up better your best players to get that player.
Yeah.
After that 1 year, that player is not guaranteed
to stay,
which means you've also lost the players you gave.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis gave Lakers his word that he's going to be signing a new contract when his 1 year ends with Los Angeles because he shares the same agent, Rich Paul, that's the name, with LeBron James and some of the players in the team. So he has given them his word that he will sign a new contract. So perhaps Masai Ujiri and the Raptors, they lost DeMar DeRozan, about 2 star players they gave to the San Antonio Spurs and some future picks.
They knew. I'm not sure it was surprising. They knew that Kawhi was always going to leave the team. So for them to choose the Clippers probably would have been something that many may not be okay. But that is it. That's what happens in NBA. The player power in NBA is just much, top striker. You can't, as a management, decide to get a man and give yourself, beat your hand in your chest and tell yourself that you're going to get that man. The player power is quite more. Kawhi won Paul George. There are possibilities that he will go there. Even before Kawhi decided to go to Clippers, I'm sure there must have been some background talks from ex-Clippers players who are somehow close to him, convincing him to join Clippers. The same thing happened with them.
The sorry story is that the Clippers don't even have a star player
at the moment.
Before Kawhi
comes in,
there's no star player that can even convince him to come. He's better than everybody in the team.
I said X. There must have been possibility of some players, some ex-players close to him, convincing him to join the Clippers.
The ex-players that were speaking to him were speaking for him in favor of the Lakers.
Not in favor of Clippers.
Kobe is a Laker legend, one of the, if not the greatest Laker of all time.
Yeah.
He's a mentor to Kawhi.
So how do you explain the rationale behind him choosing to go to
perhaps Clippers
instead of Lakers?
I have 3 reasons I feel must have made him. Number 1, the owner of the Clippers is the richest man in sports in the USA, if not the world. Steve Ballmer. He has the deepest pocket when it comes to the NBA.
Yeah.
The richest owner in the NBA. Secondly, they have the greatest executive in the NBA, Jerry West, a former Laker himself, a legend of the game. In fact, people feel he's just advertising there. His real home is Laker because he played for the Lakers through one of the greatest Lakers of all time.
All right.
The greatest executive in the NBA. And thirdly, they have a Hall of Fame coach in Doc Rivers. He has won the league with the Boston Celtics. So perhaps these 3 things, except you have a stubborn head, Jerry West talks to you, you don't accept. Then there's something. They know how to. They are very persuasive. Jerry West and Doc Rivers.
Yeah.
And having the richest owner in the NBA also trying to convince you and give them a solution. I will come on one ground. Get me Paul George.
And right now, Paul George is bound.
Not likely. He's bound. He's going there.
Yeah.
They've already sent 7 players already.
Yeah.
So okay, and Paul George is going all the way to.
Well, I think that could likely that's more of the truth because I was trying to wrap my head around it because I looked at the Lakers right now. let's not even, try to rub our heads around the issues of LeBron James not being much of a team player and all that and all that. If LeBron James, for his personality and his pedigree in the game as it is, he can influence any player to join Lakers. And I'm sure he had hands in Anthony Davis deciding to go to Lakers. You understand? So I was like, look at the Clippers, look at Lakers, then look at stars in the game. Lakers seems to have the upper hand in terms of stars.
Maybe people were just hopeful. Earlier in the year, Kawhi said he doesn't want to play with LeBron. He wants to compete against LeBron.
Anyways,
top striker. Next, the next NBA season will be blazing.
They said the hardest road to success is through the West. The Western Conference is already blocked.
I can tell you. I mean, LA Clippers signing 2 of the NBA's best 7 players. I mean,
already two are already with the Lakers.
True. It's going to be. The next season is going to really be on point. I just have to say this. I mean, I can't remember the last time we saw a defensive. I mean, we say Paul George is already bound. When the signing is eventually completed and all, when last did we see a defensive duo as Paul George and Kawhi Leonard? It dates back to Michael Jordan with Scottie Pippen.
Now, what people don't understand is that in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, you have two of the elite defenders in the NBA.
True.
Kawhi Leonard is the 2-time defensive player of the year. And now there's what they call is a two-way player. Two-way means offensively, he's one of the best. Yeah. Defensively, he's one of the best. Now you have a 2-time defensive player of the year. Paul George himself was a contender for the MVP last season with Giannis and James Harden. He was also nominated for Defensive Player of the Year last season at some point. So you have 2 of these early defenders. Not forgetting Anthony Davis on his part. He's averaging 28 and 15, which means he can give you 28 points a night and 15 rebounds. He's averaging about 3 blocks a game and 2 steals a game. To have such numbers also means you are a perimeter defender. So they have added Boogie Cousins. If he remains fit, he's also a good defender. Not forgetting Danny Green, who has been with Kawhi Leonard all his life. Even with Toronto, he has decided to sign a 2-year contract with the Lakers. Let's just do a small recap of what the Lakers did yesterday. They said the Lakers have agreed to a 1-year deal with free agent center DeMarcus Cousins. They are also bringing back point guard Rajon Rondo to a 2-year contract. Of course, they also have Alex Caruso has agreed to a 2-year deal as well to sign with the Lakers. And of course, not forgetting, the Lakers also acquired Quinn Cook from the Golden State Warriors. They brought back JaVale McGee, who had one of his best seasons last year, averaging 12.3 points per game. Lakers have brought in Danny Green. Kentavious Pope is also there. Jared Dudley came from the Brooklyn Nets. So Lakers have done good business. They still have about space for 2 other players to join the team. Fingers are crossing. Will they bring in Andre Iguodala from the Golden State Warriors, or maybe Carmelo Anthony? So these 2 teams are the ones they are going neck and neck. Why yesterday Russell Westbrook told the Houston the OKC
they should trade
him.
It just gets more interesting. I've got to tell you. I mean, the free transfer has just been. It has just been really exciting, and I think we're going to be seeing more surprising transfers before the season officially begins. But then, I was talking about the LA Clippers, and just like you stated, the road to the West is definitely locked and blocked. There is no way you can go through. Look at the statistics of both Kawhi Leonard and that man Paul George. I mean, Kawhi Leonard himself, he has made the all-time NBA defensive team. The only time he hasn't made it is twice.
When he was injured.
First, when he was in his rookie year, and the second time when he was injured. He played just 9 games that season. While Paul George on the other hand has made the NBA defensive season 4 times. Really, these guys, and just like you stated, they are good both defensively and offensively. I think the LA Clippers, they with just these 2 signings, they are definitely ready for the next season.
But down the East, there's a team that people are already tipping to be favorites. The 76ers of Philadelphia. They already have Joel Embiid. They already have Ben Simmons. They now is setting Al Horford from the Boston Celtics. They also have a Josh Richardson also came into the team. So right now they have a star-studded defensive backline. But one problem they've always had has been three-point shooting. Just like the Lakers are bringing guys who can shoot from beyond the arc, the three-pointers. Danny Green averaged 40 points on three-pointers last season. He was the most three-point shooter for the Raptors last season that they won the championship. Jared Dudley averaged 39 points from three-point range and 43 in the playoffs. So Lakers, the mistake they made of giving LeBron James ball handlers last season, they're correcting it right now by giving him shooters. So it's going to be a tough one. Let's not forget Brooklyn also has Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and not forgetting DeAndre Jordan. But of course, there will be no Kevin Durant up until entirety of next season.
True.
Golden State Warriors, nobody's seen them as favorite again.
I'm actually not seeing them as favorites. I mean, they've not made any. I don't think they've made any transfer that has been really enticing. And they got
what's the name? D'Angelo Russell from the Brooklyn Nets on sign and trade. So that's about the best thing. It's more like you're not trying to rebuild for the future.
Yeah, normally.
But they still have Clay is still but he won't play until sometime in February.
Green
if he
doesn't
get injury again.
Yeah. Normally, I would have said that for Golden State Warriors, I would have said that they should look at a case of maybe letting go of some stars and then rebuild. But
Which of the stars are you letting go?
The beauty of the rebuilding, you know that Golden State Warriors is star-studded as it is. So the beauty of them is that they play as a team. So it's not about individual brilliance. Now, there could be struggles for them. You know, it's not even there's going to be struggles for them when the season kicks off because, you know, with the business around some other teams and they are not really doing good business compared to what other teams are doing, I think it's going to be the end of an era for Golden State Warriors. Probably after some time, maybe some years, we will see a rejuvenated Golden State Warriors coming back to reign supreme again. But at the moment, I think their dominance in NBA climaxed last season. You know, when they lost the championship to Toronto Raptors. So for them right now, I think it should be a case of rebuilding. See how you can, you know, put the team together again with some stars. Because right now, majority of the stars in the game are not even considering Golden State Warriors. I could still recall there was a time that we looked at the possibility of Golden State Warriors doing great business. We saw that with the possibility of them giving some of their players mass contract, it was going to limit them from what they can bring in, you know, to boost the team. So as it is, I'm not sure.
They still have over $100 million because Kevin Durant did not resign with the team.
Okay,
but the question is, how many quality free agents do you have left?
Exactly.
To get, that's the thing. That's what I was driving at.
You mentioned about that Andre Iguodala might most likely be leaving the Golden State Warriors.
Yes, in fact, he treated him already. No, because he came out to say the Warriors medical team are always known for giving fake reports. That what they said was wrong with Kevin Durant was not what was wrong with Kevin Durant. Now, they said they also did the same thing to him. So when he came out to make that statement, he's writing a book. He went live on a TV show and made the same statement. So people feel that report did not go down well with the hierarchy at the Golden State Warriors. Perhaps they had to trade him. But the team they're trading him to are also waving him off, which means he's free to decide where he wants to go to. So he came out to say the medical team of the Warriors have a reputation for always giving fake reports about your predicament. It happened to him and perhaps to Kevin Durant as well.
Then when Elena said that Golden State Warriors there is a star-studded team, I mean, their stars are injured. Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant.
Durant is no longer their star. He's no longer there. He's gone to Brooklyn.
Are we talking about a Draymond Green? Is it Draymond Green that is eventually going to lead the Golden State Warriors to? No, I don't think.
It's more like it's just Draymond Green and Steph Curry.
Exactly. And right now, Golden State Warriors look like
Steph Curry is not a good defender.
They look like an average side. They look like an average team right there in the Eastern Conference. It's not good.
Let's go to the phone lines and hear what the callers have to say. We've told you about wrestling, where the president of the Nigerian Wrestling Federation, Daniel Igali, says this has been the best championship they've had in Nigeria, hosted in Nigeria. The tournament that just ended on Monday in Yenagoa. And of course, Team Bayelsa reigned supreme, finishing first, Delta second, and of course, Ondo State in third place. And of course, Ade Kuroyi Ajoanyo said that other wrestlers in our category will need to step up and work hard. No Nigerian wrestler have scored a point on Adek Kuroye in the last 4 years. What do you make about this? And of course, we told you about tennis, where the likes of Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, Novak Djokovic are still waxing stronger right there in the fourth round of the All England Club Wimbledon tournament. Not forgetting the 15-year-old Coco Gauff is still waxing stronger as well in the fourth round as well. Serena Williams also through to the fourth round of this tournament. At this point, who are your favorites for the Wimbledon tournament right there in Wimbledon in England? Keep the calls coming through. We told you about the NBA. The big stars are making the moves. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are bound for the LA Clippers. The Los Angeles Lakers, of course, they already have Anthony Davis with LeBron James. They also got Boogie Cousins, the Michael Cousins. Not forgetting, Rajon Rondo has signed a new contract. Quinn Cook has come in right there from the Golden State Warriors. The list is endless. Jared Dudley has come into the Lakers from the Brooklyn Nets. Not forgetting a host of other players. JaVale McGee have resigned with the Lakers. Not forgetting Rajon Rondo and, of course, Kentavious Caldwell Pope. Keep the calls coming through. Let's hear from you. The NBA come next season. Who are the favorites for you in the Eastern and the Western conferences? Philadelphia 76ers have done a good business in the Eastern Conference. Jimmy Butler has gone to the Miami Heat. Of course, Joe told you just yesterday that Brooklyn Nets, Russell Westbrook have asked the OKC to trade him. And people are advising him go to Miami Heat, or does he want to go to the Rockets? So let's hear from you this afternoon. We've told you about tennis as well. The big guns are still waxing stronger in Wimbledon. Who are the favorites for you right there? Kenny Shikori is still very much in the mix. Of course, the potential semi-final matchup between Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer is still very much on the horizon this afternoon. Keep the calls coming through. 0817 000951 and 0810951091. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you. Any day.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, my name is Fela West. You got my number?
We didn't get it.
Where do I send it to? Is it not this number?
No, not this number. It's the SMS portal.
Oh, sorry. Okay, let me comment about wrestling.
Okay, go ahead.
I think Adekure should be talking of winning world championship, not being a local champion. You know, that statement is, I don't know how I would do it. To train very hard to win a championship. What's the name of the one that won silver in the last world championship?
Adekure that won silver.
Okay, she's the one that won silver.
Silver, yes.
She should try and win gold. She give all those a local champion. Then on the president of the Wrestling Association of Nigeria, the man has performed very, very well, creditably. I think he should leave that position. Let another person try.
Why? On what basis are you saying this? Why are you saying this?
You see, nothing is permanent in this world. When you are in a particular position and you have done your bit, you have to give chance so that when others come in, they compare, the level you've gotten and your performance to others. If you stick to that place, you start losing the glory and the glamour, honestly.
Okay.
That's why he has performed well. He should leave the seat for another person.
But what if the person who is coming in does not know the work very well? We have square pegs in round hole.
Then if it's, their law is not twice, because he is the second tenor now.
Yes.
Then people will be clamoring for you to come back. Will be agitating for you to come back that he has performed. You see, in a particular job you are doing on this edge, when you perform, do your bit, if you are wise enough, just set aside and let other people try. Then they will compare you, and then they will say, oh, this man did better, let's call him back. Then people will start seeing the glory of the job you've done. But for now, there are people who are still not very happy that he's doing well. So by the time you give a chance, set aside, another person come in, maybe 2 or 3, try and fail woefully, and there will be agitating for him to come back. That he has done very well when he's, there. So that is why I see it.
Okay, thank you so much, Stella West. Right there, he thinks the man should step aside, of course, for someone else to come in. I don't know what you guys make about that comment from Stella West.
Well, the thing is, for Daniel Igali, he has done good, top striker. I don't know if this word in economics will fit in right now, law of diminishing returns.
Let's hold on without your law. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Your name and location, please.
Justice calling from Joe.
Justice, welcome. Let's hear from you.
Yes, I really like Roger Federer. He's a very humble and disciplined sports person. Actually, it's his discipline that got him 20 Grand Slam titles. Then for the Wimbledon, I'm keeping Novak Djokovic or Federer to play in the final, don't give Rafael Nadal any chance.
Why?
This is not clear. No, this is not clear.
Yeah, he has won this tournament twice before.
Twice, just twice. No, Novak Djokovic is very good on grass. Federer is very good. And we want Federer to get at least 21 Grand Slam titles before he finally retire. Then this one, Serena Williams is playing mixed double with Andre Murray. Is she out on the...
No, she's in the fourth
not.
round. She's already in the fourth round.
Okay. So I wish them the best. Then for the NBA, I think next season we should look out for the Golden State Warriors. Then we'll be back with 2-4. Then for the Toronto Raptors, let us see if they can be champion back to back. But I don't think so. This one Leonard is half already. They should also spend money to bring in quality players to their franchise.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. The question is which other players are left in the market? Hello, good afternoon.
Yes. I think it's greeting Samora, the top striker.
Obina, welcome.
Good afternoon.
For me, I think Honorable Daniel Igari should neutralize the from of wrestling. If they should give it to him as a constituency, why would we? Okay, well, it's opinion. For me, I don't think he should step out at all. Because, like something like you want us to take a man that knows little or not about this sport to put after the man has finished capping everywhere, then we'll call him back.
Exactly. Exactly.
We don't want to experiment at least. This one that we know that at least this one you know what you're doing. It should not even be changed. And I surprisingly, I've had so many elections, the FIBA election, the NFF election. I've not heard Nigerian wrestling this team president. They don't do election.
The election, I'm bringing a come office now.
Huh?
Then they do now, they make noise about their own.
You said?
Then they do, but then they make noise about their own. Very quiet, low key.
You know, be quiet, low key. I think sometimes because elections like this, people say that don't need for any other person to come and try. The person will just know it work. So for me, I think it should be there like a life patron. Talking about tennis, you know, when people was talking about this, our 15-year-old wonder girl, what's her name now?
Coco Golf, Corey Coco Golf.
Coco Golf.
Yes.
You know, this was saying he think she's my brother. Otapenko has taught me not to believe anything about women tennis. I was just laughing. I tell you that. Listen, that girl, believe you me. But I don't think this women tennis, even if it's arrangement or something, because I am surprised how somebody will just come from nowhere and you will see the person shaking everywhere, and will think the person has anything to offer. That girl, after this tournament, he might not even win one normal Faritas Open or even Dubai Masters. So women tennis over years have taught me the consistency there is not just bad, it's annoying. Very, very annoying, my brother. So I don't take any of them. I don't want to take that get serious for now. Where is the Naomi's of this world? Where is the Ostapenko? You can call this other tennis player, his girlfriend, the French guy, his girlfriend. Where are they?
Who, Svitolina?
Yes, Svitolina.
Svitolina, she's still in the tournament.
What I'm saying is that this girl will not do anything. I'm not taking her serious. Naomi Osaka said I did not take her serious, though she even tried to do her own back to back. So she will still come and go. For the next gen, there is nothing like next gen, my brother. You don't know when Rafa Nadal tell us that he will be comfortable when he retires. He's trying to tell us that he's admiring what's happening in the women side of the tennis. Is he enjoying it? He cannot tell me that he's enjoying it. For me, there's nothing like that. The city part they are talking about, the Dominic team, the Zerep, all these guys are just there for now. They are not winning anything. For my beloved friend, the Kyrgios, let me leave that for me again. I love him. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Obina. Right then, of course, you have anything to say?
Quickly, let me say this about Coco Gov. I think if there, I know we can't, but if there is a way, we should take eyes off that girl. She's just 15. We shouldn't at this point mount pressure on her. She's just living her dream, and she knows it.
Nobody's mounting pressure on her. We're just people are just
Burying her.
Exactly. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Your name and location, please.
My name is Lev. Right.
Chop Noku. Chop Noku. Chop Noku. Chop Noku.
In fact, this is Sunday Noku for you.
Go ahead.
Anybody who is calling for the resignation of Daniel is also calling for the death of Nigerian Wrestling Federation. Now, you want to talk about football and basketball. Which other federation is active in this country? Because if you look at the way Daniel Gali is carrying this federation, it's not just taking it as a personal property. So that most of these wrestlers do live with him. The man is so passionate about that wrestling federation that he is using his own money to fit some of the deals. How many other federations? Which of them? I think which of these federations that they are supposed to go for a tournament because they have no money and the will not go. And it has been happening. How many other federations are that they are organizing one tournament or the other? We just have so many federations without none of that are not even functioning. Daniel Gali, not because he's from Elsa, not because he's somebody I know, because this is a man who is so passionate about the sport. That is why when people say we need the people who have been into sport to mount those federations. Like when you talk of the football federation, we need people who have been into sport, who have been into football to mount to the football federation. So that be passionate when things are going bad and things are going. You'll be like, when you are doing something that you are so passionate, it's as if you are doing it for yourself. But that is what we don't have. So many of these federations, that is what Daniel Gali has brought to the Wrestling Federation. And don't forget, he's so many contacts internationally. I heard him speak. Was it not last week when he was saying they are even calling him in Canada. They are begging him to come back to Canada to come and help them over there. But he's still sticking with Nigeria. So I think if that Gali leaves, they have the end of Nigeria Wrestling Federation. And as for that 50-year-old girl, well, let her continue to live her dream. Nobody should put her under pressure. She's not the fault that the people are losing against her. She's playing at tennis. So whether she will fade in or not, and for now, let her enjoy her time. Thank you, and Chop Knuckle.
Chop Knuckle too. Thank you so much. And of course, we lost that call. You have to call us back if you can this afternoon. Keep the calls coming through. And of course, in 2001, a certain Goran Ivanisevic also came into the tournament in Wimbledon as a wild card. And of course, he won that tournament right there. So perhaps she's just living her dream indeed. And of course, the more she stays in the tournament, the more money she's making as well for herself. Hello, good afternoon.
Top striker.
Welcome to the program. Welcome back.
No man is inevitable in this world.
Very true.
So people are saying he should die there. He should not die there. He has to try his best. He should move on. There are higher positions for the man to climb.
Yeah.
So the man have exhibited his potential that he loves the sports, and he has one lawyer for the sports. You understand?
Yeah.
So for a progressive human being, I will not die there. I will go further ahead. There are thousands of the galley in this country. I'm telling you, the people that can perform like him are even more better. And if you interview that man, he will tell you he's not the best. There are people that will come in that association and perform more better than him. So no man is inevitable. If God forbid, it's no more, does it mean the wrestling should die? No. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asela West, giving his thought right there about Daniel Gali. Moving on right there from other presidents who come in and take over from the Nigerian Wrestling Federation. Gali is in the second tenure right there. And of course, the question is, should he continue if the constitution permits, gives room for a third term in office, or moving forward, what are the plans on the ground to ensure that everything he has done good does not go down the drain when someone else comes in to take the reins right there at the Nigerian Wrestling Federation?
It's a matter of, like I keep saying, it's a matter of having a developmental ground. Now, for Daniel Gali, he has done well. What makes a man, what gives a man the credit or the ability or that legitimacy to step into a particular office is seen by his handworks. And this man has proven it. If the constitution allow him to continue, he should continue. All right.
Oh, we lost that call right there. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Welcome, Valentine.
Yeah. Good afternoon to you guys in the studio.
Good afternoon, Valentine.
Just like I this is a deal with allow the legality media will not come as whatever as maybe change the constitution of the wrestling federation. The people say cry wolf, say it is not democracy, why would you even to him? Tell the man to leave. There are Amazon comments. People ask to say the ones who don't do there before that man come, putting them to see my country is a very unstable place, highly unstable. And let's not forget, and legally is a Canadian. And Canadian last time I checked, so offered him a contract to come and handle the federation. So this man, if he leaves his place, has better offers elsewhere. If I'm to say, and if I'm then legally, after this tenure, I will gradually leave. Allow other person to come and run. Hopefully, rolling the down. And then people now come and call me, say, bros, let's go back and do this thing better. But for those who are saying, let athletes who perform in a particular sport handle the sport, let's not forget, our own Dejo culture was one time FA in Delta State. The rest they say it's a threat. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, just like Valentine just took that out of my mouth. I was only to remind one of my brother that Okocha was once SA chairman in Delta State and Warri Wolf never football again. for Daniel Igali, not striker, I don't think any. Well, for me, I think you should remain there. You should stay there. I don't want any experiment. There are those people that say other persons are capable. They should go and take cricket. They should go and try cricket. They should go and try what's this sport that those our students finish class and we are dropping all over Nigeria.
Bobsled.
Yeah, they should go and try those ones. They should allow this one that is gradually that this man want to make stable for us. And Daniel Igali is not a Canadian. He's a Canadian athlete. He's a pure Nigerian. He is not a Canadian. Please. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Obina from Morasi, right there. Of course, there are people with a different opinion about Daniel Igali remaining as president of Nigerian Wrestling Federation or moving forward. Of course, we told you about their tennis also on the menu. The young ones are talking about, and Corey Goff still very much in the mix in the fourth round right there. Not forgetting the trio of Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic still very much in the mix. Ken Nishikori also in the hustle right there. And of course, we told you about the NBA as well. Keep the calls coming through. Hello, good afternoon.
Any updates on the Real Madrid Academy?
No update now. It's starting in August.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. And of course, time to go talk of football. Before then, you have something to say?
Yeah.
Quickly.
Let me just wrap it up this way. If the constitution allow him to continue, he should. But then Igali cannot remain there forever. There is a time where he will run out of ideas in managing. It's something that is natural for a human being at a particular position. So if you want him to stay there for 30 years or 40 years, as the case may be, there's a time whereby whatever you saw in the Daniel Igali of the past of the last 10 years, you may not find it again. But for now, well, he can continue, but Daniel Igali will have to step down at some point for us to progress.
He has to step down at some point for us to progress. Of course. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Your name and location, please.
My name is Christian Owe from Ada George.
Christian, welcome. Let's hear from you.
Concerning this issue of Daniel Igali, I want to add my own voice like this. Daniel Igali has tried very, very well. He has done well. But if the constitution does not allow him to continue, well, I want to say any successful person without a successor is a failure. By now, he would have groomed people that should be able to step into his shoes.
Point here.
Okay. Thank you so much right there for your take on that. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, name and location.
Okay, yeah, my name is Jordan.
Okay, go ahead.
There's something I want to ask you.
Okay.
It's a guy who will post and Russian president in this country.
He's what? Is he what?
Is he the first president to handle this federation?
No, he's not.
Okay, people should go and check those people who have been in that study for what have they achieved.
This is the federation has never had it this good since the Igali took over.
And yes, thank God, I thank you that you just made it now. That is exactly what I'm talking about. If we have better people with us to run this course, because they will do better than the way it's doing now. You understand?
Okay.
No, I don't think you don't have anybody that is competent in that course because they are not in that show of Italy. He's a world champion, an Olympic champion. What have them won in their career? So they have made the show about. So people should stop talking about that. You step down, but another to take over. It's not right. The man has done very well, so we should still suppress him. So that's my take.
Okay, thank you so much. I get your point right there. He thinks the man has done pretty well. We should allow him to do what he's doing right there.
Assume the position against the tide. Emancipate yourself from mental.
And of course, it's time for us to talk of football on the show this afternoon. A lot has been happening right there in the world of football. And of course, the first sport, let's start with women football. Victor, yesterday we saw Swedish women national team get the better of the English ladies, 2-1. Was it a case of, how do I put it? Was it a case of, since they couldn't get to the final, they just have to let their guard down? Everything they wanted did not go their way. But of course, Swedish women triumphing 2-1.
I don't think so. I think it was a case of the Swedish team being better than the three Lionesses, I've got to say. I mean, when you talk about the goal scorer, the first goal came from Kosovara Aslani. Beautiful player.
Spoiler.
Exactly, and a beautiful way to score. And of course, Jacobson got the goal in the 22nd minute, and of course, in the 31st minute there, about that Chelsea woman Francisca Kirby tried to put England back level, but that wasn't enough. But then the truth remains, Sweden were actually the dominant side in that particular game. I mean, from start to finish, Phil Neville could find no answer. Ellen White, once again, denied by VAR. I think this should be like the third time that she has been denied a goal by VAR in the tournament. But then, really good for the Swedish team. Phil Neville, I think he'll be pretty disappointed because they won't even be finishing with bronze. I mean, they are going out of the tournament in 4th place. Not what they expected, particularly. Not what they expected in any way. But then it's a great fight. It's been a great run, an impressive run for England and as well for Sweden. Sweden, I mean, they've done really well for themselves, and finishing with bronze medal, I think they will be proud of themselves because I personally, for one, didn't give them a chance. I didn't even see them going through to the semi-finals, but then they shocked everyone, made it through to the quarterfinals, made it through to the semi-finals, and of course, Netherlands just got the better of them, and they were able to do it against the three Lionesses. Very great one for them, for the coach, and for all players and the Swedish team in general. The country was agog with festivities, even as I feel they will be celebrating them when they return greatly. But it was a beautiful match, I've got to tell you. I mean, at point in time, at the first half, Sweden were dominating, but then in the second half, England tried to balance out play. I think the possession was 50 to 50% ball possession, to show you that both teams were actually making use of the ball, holding the ball. But then it just seemed like Sweden got the better of England. England tried their best in the second half to get the goal, but then Sweden just locked shop. They were not letting Ellen White and Nikita Paris, they couldn't get past that Swedish defense. Amazing stuff right there, I've got to tell you. And I think the FIFA Women's World Cup has really been ecstatic, really filled with a lot of intrigues, and we expect more to come. I mean, for them to build up on this success. We heard yesterday that the FIFA president Gianni Infantino proposing for
32-team
tournament, and of course doubling the money. I think that would actually increase the competition and the level of play that we have seen so far in the FIFA Women's World Cup.
Reliance, the final comes up today. It will be United States up against the Netherlands, world champions, defending champions, up against European women's champion. So it's the first time for the Netherlands making it to the finals. Do they stand a chance against the American ladies?
They do. The power and the energy at which the Orange ladies play is something you give them credit for. Although United States is a country as it is, or at the moment, known for their prowess in terms of women's football, the manner at which they dispatch the English ladies, before they eventually get to the finals, and then they have a Netherlands on the waiting for them. It's a 50-50 game. The force and the power between both, if you see them play, it's almost at par. The way the United States play as well as the way the Netherlands play is almost something of great quality, for both of them. So the Netherlands, irrespective of the fact that they will be playing in the final for the first time, they stand a chance against USA, irrespective of the experience that the USA team have gathered over time when it comes to this particular tournament. And also not considering also the fact that USA have players who are stars in terms of women football in respective leagues as well as respective clubs at which they play for. But when you watch the Netherlands play, they play together as a team, so, and that gives them a lot of credit. The way they were unleashed against Italian ladies was just amazing, although some may argue that the Italian ladies at the same time were more like the underdogs in that particular encounter, because that was the first time they got to that particular level. But that being said, you needed to see them play against these Italian ladies. I think the scoreline of that game does not really justify, the way they played against those ladies. But going against this a USA side, I think they might want to change the mentality and the approach to the game, because if you rush them like that, if you go at them like that, they will be able to bite you and hurt you quite well. Talking about USA now. So the style of play and the approach to the game, they may want to change. They may want to manage the game better than they've done, in previous matches. This is a final. There's no second chance as it is. So if they put all that together, they stand a great chance against USA.
And of course, so
sorry, I've got to talk concerning this particular match between United States of America and Netherlands. I mean, you cannot underrate the Netherlands. They are European champions. You have to put that into the context. I mean, they won the European Championship, the Women's European Championship, and the fact that they've had a great year from last year down to this year, they've had a stellar performance all way long. But although the United States of America, they've knocked out Spain in this tournament, they knocked out France, they knocked out England, they saw off England. I mean, a team that has seen off the big boys, the European big boys, big women or big girls.
Before the feminists come after you.
Sorry, the big girls or the big names, let me put it that way. I mean, a team that has knocked out and seen off the big names. You want to say that it looks like it's going to go the way of the United States women national team, but then I think this match is going to be in tight contention, really, really stern match. Not to forget that the United States men, they'll also be playing in the finals of the Gold Cup versus Mexico. So right now, United States football, I think they are ecstatic. This is the fourth time. If they clinch this title, they will be going. I mean, the USA will be going for their fourth World Cup title, and the second. I mean, they're champions. They're defending champions, and if they just do, they will just be defending. I mean, amazing stuff right there. But then, Jill Ellis, I want to see how she'll be able to tweak with her squad, how she would make it such that, okay, maybe even with the absence of, we don't know if Megan Rapinoe, we're yet to see the lineup is yet to be released. Megan Rapinoe might be playing, and she still stands a chance of winning the Golden Ball. I mean, she has been one of the most outstanding players in the tournament so far.
Alex Morgan
as well, who turned 30 just last week. I think it's going to be amazing stuff you've got to say. But then let's see how Jill Ellis will be able to tweak her squad to be able to calm the pressure that these Netherlands bring, because these guys, they play together as a team. They play so well, they play so decent, and if the United States of America underestimate them, they will just be putting themselves in big danger.
So can you call the game?
After all this plenty talk, I think it's going to end
I didn't want to say that part. I didn't want to say that part.
I think it's going to end up.
You said it with your own mouth.
It's going to be United States all the way. I mean, 3 goals to 2.
3 goes to 2. Reliance?
It will go down to penalty shootout. At that point, I can't really say. But maybe 1-1 or 2-2. And then penalty shootout, then Netherlands takes it.
But let me just say, I won't be surprised if Netherlands win. I mean, we've seen things happen this weekend.
Someone said
we've seen things.
Someone said if South Africa beats Egypt, he will trek, he will walk barefoot.
Who?
in the street of a journalist, a Nigerian journalist.
Okay.
He did a live whatever video and say it's not possible. If South Africa should beat Egypt, he will walk barefoot in Alexandria from a particular distance. So what are you going to do? You said the Netherlands will beat
USA.
Okay. You say USA will win.
Yes.
3-2.
It's not even sure of it.
I'm not sure anything can happen. That's just, I'm not putting the bet. Anything can happen. We'll just watch the match and enjoy it.
Over now to the AFCON we go this afternoon, where Egypt have sacked the head coach Javier Aguirre after the hosts suffered the shock defeat by South Africa in the last 16 of the African Cup of Nations. The Pharaohs were the pre-tournament favorites for them, not for me, but lost 1-0 in Cairo after Dembinkosi lost at 85th minute winner. Egypt Football Association President Hani Aborida had also resigned, saying it was a moral obligation. Oh, Amadou Pini, hope you can see this. Mexican Aguirre, who is 60, was appointed in August 2018, succeeding Hector Cooper, who left after the World Cup exit. Speaking after Saturday's defeat, Aguirre, who still had 3 years left on his contract, said, "Of course, I am responsible. I think the game was open and there were chances for both teams. The only difference was the goal for South Africa." Please, I'm interested in one part. Egypt Football Association President Hani Aborida has also resigned, saying it was a moral obligation. Is it that this part of the world where we come from, our leaders are yet to tap into this?
But this is Africa now. Egypt is an African country now.
This part of
okay, this part of
West
Africa.
Africa. This part of West Africa where we find ourselves. Is it that some leaders don't know? You know, some people will say that North Africans are like immigrants who from Europe came to stay in Africa.
Yeah,
someone will say the only
I've heard that school of thought many times.
Someone said the only thing Africa is South Africa, is Africa in their name, because there's nothing about them that make him look like Africa. Because I'm here to fathom it. Your team is not doing well as the president of the federation. You are still sticking your guns with all the allegations against you. You are still sticking your guns back. Let's not shift the table at the moment. The man said it was his fault. He selected the players, he chose the formation, so he deserved everything that came to him. Victor, we saw the game yesterday. South Africa came out to play. It was in the studio I said, I'm expecting an upset from South Africa. They almost ate me raw. I once said Benin Republic will cause an upset. They almost chased me out of the studio.
Prophet top striker.
No. And again, for the record, all this story of they never concede goal unbeaten, I think it has come to an end, Abi.
It
3
has
out of
definitely
4.
come to an end.
So I don't know what you make about that game. Nigerians were so jubilant yesterday because South Africa won. To them, it was an easy road to destiny. I don't know about you.
It's not. It is definitely not an easy road. It's not going to be an easy one for Nigeria. We'll be facing South Africa in the quarterfinals, but that's not the question. That match yesterday was actually open. I think it was end-to-end stuff right there. South Africa, they came out to play. They came out with all the ammunition. I mean, everything they had. Percy Tau, every single player came out to give their best to the team, and also the Egyptians themselves. I mean, the stadium was, all I kept seeing was red.
It seems the AFCON in Cairo
is a different
and the
AFCON.
one in Alexandria
It's different.
are two different AFCON.
I tell you, top striker, I don't think there was any empty space, and I'm just wondering, how is it going to be from now on?
Someone was saying we should be expecting dry empty stadiums from now on because Egypt are no longer there.
Exactly.
Morocco
I think so.
are still not there as well.
Because the two teams that made the fans come out was actually
The
Morocco
North African team,
and
basically.
Egypt, and now both teams are knocked out. I can just imagine how subsequent events or subsequent matches would be. But then, I was pretty shocked. I mean, when they got I was shocked because
I'm still not shocked.
I mean, 88 minutes, Egypt, they did their best. I mean, they got some decent opportunities, and then in the 85th minute, that South African player was able to get the goal. I was like, wow, okay, this is surprising. But then, that was just enough to seal it for South Africa, and amazing. This is amazing actually, and this is things that we actually see. But in the AFCON, I mean, it is very, very evident. Just like you stated, the AFCON so far, statistics have nothing to do with the game. So far, we've seen it. you concede. You didn't concede in the group stages. You scored the most goals in the group stages. Even the big players that you have in the group stages, even if they have Mohamed Salah, who is undoubtedly one of the best players. I mean, he is the best player Africa has at the moment, Mohamed Salah. And even with a player of such pedigree, they have a certain, I have to say, Mohamed El Neni. He plays for Arsenal.
He stays on the bench at that part.
They have Trezeguet, who has actually been impressive so far in the AFCON so far. But then, all the players, all the gallery of stars, nothing. And then just amazing stuff from the coach and also the Egyptian FA. Exactly. Coming out, I'm actually applauding the coach of Egypt, Javier Aguirre, coming out to say it's his fault. Like, I mean, he took the blame for it. He didn't push the blame to the players because the players did what they could. But
so the only difference in that game was the goal. True,
the formation wasn't working. It just wasn't working. But the players did the best that they could. I tell you that. And the fact that the president of the Egyptian FA stepped down, I'm still trying to fathom it.
Rance, we saw the game yesterday, and as someone that kept on telling someone that South Africa will hurt this Egyptian team. It never always made my stand that I don't see Egypt as favorite to this AFCON. I've always stood my ground and I gave my reasons why I've always believed so. And I was proven right yesterday because take out a Mo Salah from that team
and the Egyptian team is done.
An overhyped go-round FC team.
For the game yesterday, it was a 50-50 game. I think where the Egyptian side lost it was at the attack. They had quite a couple of chances to get a goal.
Was quite wasteful
as in scandalously. I can't recall that particular supposed or potential assist that was given him by Mo Salah. That he was almost one-on-one. Now, the one-on-one wasn't a direct one-on-one from the side, so he had a better chance of burying that particular goal, but he couldn't get it. So they lost it at the attack. That was where they lost it, and then they couldn't get back into the game. And then, you know, I was asking myself, what's the rationale behind starting Mo Salah behind a striker? When you started Mo Salah behind a striker, you're making him more of an offensive midfielder at that point. So the runs at the flanks and the flicks that he brings to you when he's playing at the flanks, he lost it. You wouldn't get that from him. So it didn't work out. Then I think the coach understood that, and at a certain time, he was sent back to the flank, and then he was trying to come in from the flank and all that, but still it didn't work. They lost it at the attack, and they also lost it at the midfield. Now, a certain WADA was introduced into that particular game because they knew, or the coach saw that he wasn't working at the midfield. Even the midfield itself, the South African team allowed the midfield for them. Now, this is what the South African did that the Egyptian couldn't fathom. They played almost massive defense, massive attack of a thing, but who was making this massive defense, massive attack of the thing work? The midfielders, the holding midfielders. They supported themselves.
Bongani Zungu.
Yeah, they supported themselves at the defense when the time comes for it. And when there's a time for them to pull to the attack, they are the one moving to the attack. So the defenders were not moving. They were there making the defense solid. Whereas the defensive or the holding midfielders were all there, moving to and fro, supporting the attack, so that at the point you're not just looking at the Pesitao, you're not just looking at the three-man up front that you had for the South Africans. You're looking at more of 5 attackers coming into the play. So that was how they lost it. But I think it's good that we are seeing upset in AFCON. You understand? For you to take out a host nation, it tells you the pedigree that you've developed yourself into. Even if South Africans were not beautiful before they came into this particular round, but it's a credit to them.
And of course, earlier Nigeria defeated Cameroon 3-2 right there. In case you missed it, the coach of Egypt, Javier Aguirre, has been sacked while the president have resigned, saying it was of moral. He needs to do it. Oh God. Moving on this afternoon to the Copa America.
And to everybody going astray, put your hands in mine. Let me take you away.
But of course, Lionel Messi was shown only the second red card of his career as Argentina beat Chile 2-1 in a hot-tempered Copa America third-place playoff. And of course, the Barcelona forward had provided the assist for Sergio Aguero's opener before Paulo Dybala made it 2-0. But Messi was shown a red card following a clash with Gary Medel, which also saw the Chile player dismissed. Arturo Vidal scored a second-half penalty, but Argentina held off the fight back to secure third place. However, the big talking point was undoubtedly the sending off of Medel and Messi, who has never been sent off for Barcelona and whose only other red card was on international duty 14 years ago. That was in 2005 when he was sent off last for the national team. And of course, tension had been building as the game wore on in a physical encounter, with both sides often giving away niggly free kicks. The tempers spilled over 8 minutes before halftime, when Messi appeared to nudge over Medel as they both challenged for the ball. Medel responded by forcibly pushing his face into Messi's as the two players argued before the referee arrived and dismissed them both. It seemed harsh on Messi, who in the replays of the incident did not appear to respond aggressively to Medel's actions. Chile had also lost Alexis Sanchez to injury early on. The Manchester United forward appeared to suffer a hamstring injury when chasing a long ball over the defense. Peru meet Brazil in the Copa America final tonight. And of course, that's the update right there. Argentina, finally, they got third place. Messi sent off for the first time in 14 years. The second time in his career. The first was Argentina. He has never been sent off for Barcelona.
Well, surprise for the red card.
Say from the replays, it was shown that he did not merit the red card, but of course it has come and gone.
Yeah. Surprise for the red card. Reasons being that when you look at the replay, it may not really prove obvious, but these are the things you get from football sometimes. And then for a player in the caliber of Messi, whose records have shown that he's not known for misbehavior in the field of play. Going by the number of red cards he has had or he has been given, in the game, it makes it a surprise. But in all about the game, I think it was a case of where the Argentine team tells themselves that, see, this is it. This is what we can get. So let's see how much we can stay together as a team and get it. And they were able to get it. I think it would have been a different case if the Chilean national team were able to utilize that disadvantage to Argentina being the two red cards and then turn things around. Even the consolation goal they had in that game came via penalty. That's to tell you that they weren't at the top of their game. For a team like Chile, who have won this tournament for about twice, back-to-back, champions, and then they were defending champions before this particular one kicks off, and then they get to find themselves playing at the third place. They should have been able to do better than that. Maybe, just maybe, the absence of what's his name now, Sanchez was their disadvantage yesterday.
Why South American football bosses say accusations questioning the integrity of the Copa America are unfounded and represent a lack of respect. Argentine captain Lionel Messi claimed the competition was corrupt after he was sent off in their 2-1 third place playoff win over Chile on Saturday. The cups are fixed for Brazil, he added. Say the cup is fixed for Brazil, he added. The Argentine Football Association complained about serious and gross refereeing errors after Wednesday's 2-0 semi-final defeat by host Brazil. Messi was shown a red card in the 7th minute against Chile following a clash with Gary Medel, who was also dismissed. So we don't have to be part of this competition, said the Barcelona forward. They have showed us a lack of respect throughout this tournament. Sadly, the corruption, the referees, they don't allow people to enjoy football. They ruin it a bit. South American Football Association or Confederation, CONMEBOL, later released a statement which did not directly refer to Messi, saying a fundamental pillar of fair play is to accept the results with loyalty and respect. It is unacceptable that as a result of incidents typical in competitions involving 12 teams, all on equal terms, unfounded accusations have been launched that lack the truth and question the integrity of the Copa America. These accusations represent a lack of respect for the competition, all the participating players, and hundreds of professionals of CONMEBOL.
Top striker, that's the truth.
What's the truth?
The truth is, I buy into what Messi said. It looks like this particular
How much are you paying for it?
It looks like the Copa America was built for Brazil. I was listening to an interview with Arturo Vidal after the match, and Messi boycotted the medal ceremony. Him and his team, they boycotted it. They say according they don't even need the medal because from the game against Brazil, he believes that was the reason why he was sent off because that wasn't even supposed to be a red card. There was no using of hands on anyone's face. These guys were just chest to chest, and then they are both captains, and then you give them straight red cards. For what reason particularly? Alex, Arturo Vidal kept talking. Arturo Vidal himself said for Chile, they put them in a hotel that is 2 hours away from the stadium. Meanwhile, it's not supposed to be so.
How does that concern South African as in the body regulating? How does it concern?
Now this is it. The competition is being hosted by Brazil. Apparently, from the way they are seeming, it looks like it's been foul play all along. Everything
in that place, the body governing football in that region should. Let's say we are playing a match in Port Harcourt.
How do you
put me in? Let me not say a holder.
No, what I'm trying to understand.
They actually because they are the body that governs football in that region, they can veto into it.
True.
They can.
If they decide to, NFF wouldn't pick a hotel for Super Eagles and for this AFCON in Egypt, maybe far away from the stadium, and expect CAF.
No. It's not NFF and CAF. Now, who gave you the hosting rights?
It's the body.
CONMEBOL. Now, when you are allotting hotels to people, normally it's supposed to be CAF. There's supposed to be the body organizing it. That's supposed to even do that.
Yeah.
So it's not even the country hosting it. It's CAF that the ones who are hosting the tournament. Yes, they've given the hosting rights to you. So, but they're supposed to oversee everything that is happening, not the country.
Anyways,
but Top Striker, I've got to say, I think I've been saying it earlier that VAR.
You come for the Nigerian Wrestling Tournament. Who gives you? Who puts you? Who loads it? The Wrestling Federation are the ones in charge, not the state hosting it. Yes, the state will provide what they need. The body in quote supervises it and gives it credibility. Okay, everything is up to standard.
But I think what the body does is to supervise and oversee the facilities. Let's say, for instance, if you are given a hotel,
because the state in quotes are also taking part in that tournament. It's not once you provide your hotels, your everything,
and the body will supervise it.
At that point, they take charge of everything.
They will only come and look at the hotel now. Is it okay? Will it be
not
convenient?
Brazil that will locate hotels to Argentina.
And then
it's CONMEBOL.
Even if
the body hosting it.
Even if we want to agree with you, how do you give people a hotel that is 2 hours away from the stadium that they would practice and they would also play? It makes completely no sense. And that's why when Lionel Messi says that, he says the entire what he's criticizing isn't Brazil, he's criticizing CONMEBOL. That this entire tournament seems like it was built for Brazil to win. The VAR decisions, the officiating, and now he's bringing up the talk of the reason why he got sent off was because he spoke against. When Brazil lost to Argentina, when Argentina lost to Brazil, he spoke against
refereeing errors.
And of course, he believes now that that's the main reason why he got his red card.
And of course, just coming out, it says the United States captain Megan Rapinoe for the women's side says she does not think women's football gets enough respect from FIFA. The USA player played the Netherlands on today in the Women's World Cup final in France. However, the game in Lyon takes place on the same day as the Copa America and Gold Cup finals. It's a terrible idea to put everything on the same day. This is the World Cup final. This is like cancelled everything today. And Rapinoe she said the World Cup final is set so far in advance. It is actually unbelievable. So no, I don't think that we feel the same level of respect, certainly that FIFA has for the men and just in general. However, a FIFA spokesperson explained the scheduling of the different events has gone through a comprehensive consultancy process that has involved all key stakeholders and taken into account different aspects of both the women's and men's international match calendars. FIFA and the confederations have discussed the respective match schedules in general to minimize any potential timing clashes. Rapinoe was also critical of the prize funds on offer for the Women's World Cup.
Top striker.
See, wait, this feminism thing is getting out of hand. See, let's try and address these issues. FIFA only announced on Friday of their plans to increase prize money.
Yeah.
To a large extent, they are doing their best. We know, see, in as much as we don't want to overflog this matter, the cash cow is the male game. Sponsors come in to partner with the male game. If FIFA are trying to spread the money to get to the female part of the game, I think it should also show appreciation. CONCACAF, the CONMEBOL, the Copa America final comes up late in the midnight.
Yeah.
It's actually by 9 p.m. today.
The what's the name?
Copa,
Gold Cup also comes up in the night. The Women's World Cup comes up by 4 p.m. today. So the time classes are not even there. So what is this issue of FIFA not showing respect? Respect, they've increased the prize money to $30 million from $15 million.
Yeah.
They've increased the prize money now, hopefully for the next World Cup, to $60 million. I think the least and the best anybody can do is to show appreciation that, please, these people are doing well. I was shocked. The African Women's Cup of Nations, AFCON, as at the last time I checked, not this last one that they won, I didn't check the prize money. The one for 2 years ago was $800,000. While the under 17 African boys is $1.7 million. Now, if there's an improvement on the prize money, I think we should not overflog this issue of the women's game lacking respect. Even the associations itself, the male game generates large part of the money. How come these issues are still being flogged that people do not have respect for the game? Meanwhile, the timing is not even the same.
The thing is, if you look at the timing of the tournament we've had, I think FIFA have done their bid in terms of trying to manage it, because, immediately the leagues ended. We had under 20 World Cup, the FIFA World Cup as well. What again? Okay, well, AFCON is still not directly under FIFA, but under CAF. So there have been several tournaments. Now I'm talking about the Copa America as well. There have been several tournaments within this time, and we also looked at the possibility of trying to manage the time in such that there won't be clashes. So it's a case of having just congestion now in terms of tournament, and I think they've done their bid. It's normal. You expect the women to voice out. It's normal, top striker.
And of course, I want to come back. I'm going to get the opinion of Victor Raja. Let's go pay some business. We'll come back. The program does make a return.
Akas, where you pack all these plenty loads they go with your family? They go Dubai. What did they happen for Dubai? You never hear about Odibola Invest and Travel Promo? Odibola Invest and Travel Promo? Yes, so that one be say, if you buy 5 plots of land for inside Odibola Quiet Able Layout Phase 2, you don't qualify instanta to go Dubai with me. You mean say 5 plots of land? Me and my family, we don't see Dubai be that? Yes, so buy 5 plots for 1.5 million naira each. All expense paid. You not go pay 1 naira at all. And even you, if you buy 1 plot, you don't qualify for raffle draw to go Dubai with me and my family. All the experience now, me and your family go enjoy them together. Mudaga. Bobby, where make I rush quick, make it not pass me and my family. Oh yeah, make this opportunity not pass you and your family by you. Visit their office with for Yenwale. It's layout of Tombia Extension, GRA Phase 2 Port Harcourt, or call Joy for 0701 236 4510. 0701-236-4510. Make you not miss this opportunity with Akas Baba and family. Terms and condition applies. Dubai. Yeah, I call.
Now when they ball, they go Dubai.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
And of course, welcome back to the program today, Sport Live, reaching you live on this frequency. And of course, we're talking about the women's game. Megan Rapinoe saying the women's game, FIFA is not showing them enough respect, despite the fact that the prize money will be increased for 2 successive World Cups if the 2-team World Cup goes to plan come next year right there. And of course, Megan Rapinoe, you think she's asking too much of women's game? They're asking too much?
I think she's trying to be the voice for the females.
She's trying to be a woman.
She's just trying to be the voice. She's trying to voice out, maybe be the savior for them. I mean, she talked about that the FIFA Men's World Cup is cancel everything day. That was her word, cancel everything day. And why exactly would there be 3 finals today, that is the FIFA Women's World Cup? And of course, we now still have some AFCON matches. We have the CONCACAF, the Gold also be playing as well. But
the timing are not the same.
True, the timing isn't the same, but I think that that special thing tagged to this is the World Cup. This is the World Cup final. I'm just trying to make an excuse for her. Then I heard her complaining about the money. I mean, Gianni Infantino put it out just yesterday, on Friday, that okay, we will be doubling the prize money. We are looking into doubling the prize money. She doesn't want to wait because from the press conference, she said, double it now. Next World Cup, double it again.
Is she the sponsor bringing the money?
But that's the truth. We really cannot. I don't think we will get to. I don't think right now we are at that position, and we will get to that position where the FIFA Women's World Cup will gain the same level of attention that the Men's World Cup gained, that the men's play gain in general. Talk about sponsorship. The amount of money that sponsors pump into the FIFA Men's World Cup is a complete far cry to what they pump into the FIFA Women's World Cup. This has actually been one of the best so far of the World Cup, considering sponsorship, amount spent, and even views. We only have persons who view these matches, but then I think she should just go with the progress, go with the flow. But she's trying to force it and trying to rush things too fast. And already, she's been criticized a lot. Criticized by Donald Trump, criticized by, and now she's saying that the team is a unanimous decision. They will not be visiting the White House whether or not they win this competition. It's just something. I think she's just trying to be the poster girl for the FIFA women's or for women's football.
We have Emeka Dena in the building. Emeka, good afternoon and welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, the top striker. Good afternoon to the guys in the building.
Emeka, finally, it seems the women are finally asking for too much because Rapinoe is saying that women's game is FIFA does not have respect for the women's game. Talking about prize money, that they have 3 finals that are coming today. The prize money was increased from last World Cup. They doubled the money to $30 million. All things being equal, the money will be increased for the next World Cup, doubling again. And now
$60 million.
$60 million. Now she's saying FIFA does not have respect for the women's game. It should be said that most of these sponsors come in because of the men's game. Sometimes FIFA in their magnanimity try to trickle the money down to other aspects of the game. Don't you think these women or the ladies in quotes are asking for too much? Even though the bodies in quote are also doing their bits to make sure things get better. But it can never be better side by side with men's football.
They didn't start the same time, as a matter of fact. No, women's football, the World Cup started in 1991.
Yeah.
The FIFA World Cup proper started in 1930. That's the difference of 61 years. 61 years there. No player that played in the 1930 World Cup is alive till date there. So at the end of the day, they've come a long way. And, just like you said, that as a matter of fact, FIFA are even using the money they make from men's football to sponsor women's football. That's the truth of the matter. They can't be at the same level, at this point. I don't want to see it as disrespect, but I think FIFA would have done enough. They would have done better than they are doing right now in terms of the scheduling of this competition. Don't forget, FIFA we are playing the under 20 World Cup and the Women World Cup at the same time.
Yeah.
That's not good for the publicity of the Women's World Cup. Now the Copa America is on, the Africa Cup of Nations is also on, the Gold Cup is on. 4 major tournaments almost at the same time in the space in a year where you have Women World Cup. Now for the FIFA World Cup last year, we saw what happened. Football was shut down. Even in Nigeria, there was no MPFL. Same for most part of the world. Most part of the world, didn't play football. The leagues ended, at least 1 month before the World Cup. And in fact, I think it also affected the UEFA Champions League final. They have to bring it forward as well, so that the teams will go and rest, players will go and rest who are preparing for the World Cup. And when the World Cup started, we knew it was just only the World Cup. I wasn't watching the World Cup and thinking about the AFCON and thinking about staying awake to watch Copa America. It didn't happen last year. There were so many matches that were even shifted, because of the World Cup. And at the end of the day, I think FIFA would have tried in a way to make it in such a way that this FIFA World Cup, Women's World Cup, didn't clash with some of these other competitions, and it's taking attention away from the World Cup. Sort of, yes, the World Cup this year has gained widespread publicity. Unlike what happened last year, the target was to hit the 1 billion, 1 billion view mark, in terms of television. As a matter of fact, they are there already. You understand? So it's been massive, but it could have been better, if they were able to separate this competition from the other, sort of in terms of the scheduling, so that it doesn't clash with these other competitions that will now drag for attention. With this FIFA Women's World Cup, they've played good football. You have to give it to them. That game between England and USA in the semi-final, more interesting than most of the matches we've seen at the AFCON already this year. Copa America, the same thing. So the stars are there, but of course we know that yes. Unlike tennis, where they enjoy equal prize money for the ladies and the guys, in the Grand Slams, that's not the same for football. They don't bring the same money, in. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you don't expect to pay them the same way. They didn't start the same time too. They didn't. As at 1930 when they were playing the FIFA World Cup in Uruguay. There was nothing like women football anywhere. No football club, no women football club was formed. Let alone to organize a competition like the World Cup and what have you. So that is it. They are not at the same level, so we have to live with it. With time, maybe in the next 61 years, they might get to the level where the men's football is now in terms of prize money. But I doubt even by the next 61 years that the overall prize money for the women's game will be up to $480 million like it is right now and all that.
I was just about to talk about that top striker, but I feel maybe they should bridge the gap. I think the gap is too far. I mean, Emeka just said it. The prize money for the men's World Cup is $480 million. For the women's World Cup is $30 million. This is a difference of $450 million. Try to bridge it a little bit. I mean,
but they are doing their bit. They are doing their best.
It's a gradual thing. The women's game is evolving.
It's evolving.
As far back as 2000, there was the Club World Cup
for the men.
It will be starting, I think, next
2020.
year. No, yeah, next year. Yes. For the women. They're getting there gradually. A lot of countries in the world don't even have female league.
Exactly.
Even in Africa, we have so many countries that don't have female football league. So how do you even start when you don't have a league? We can play the AFCON for the next 50 years, and countries like Mauritania will not qualify for the AFCON. Countries like Djibouti will not qualify for the AFCON, for the Women's African Cup of Nations. Because they don't have a league. So where do you even start from? How do you even get to the level where you can now say we should be at par with the men when so many countries in the world? But that is not the same for men's football.
Exactly.
Virtually all the countries in the world play organized league, for the men's game. So you see that disparity is still there. Yes, like we said, the money used in sponsoring this women's game is even gotten from the men's
exactly.
game.
So just trickle it down.
Exactly. So gradually they will get there, but. I think Megan Rapinoe is too fast, and maybe she's thinking this is tennis we are playing. This is not tennis. Even in tennis, some people still are not comfortable with it because they are not playing the same number of sets.
Exactly.
For the men Grand Slam, they play best of 5. For the women, they play best of 3. You understand? So if you do first 2 sets, you're through to the next one, and you get the same amount with me that do 3 sets minimum and 5 sets maximum. You see there's still that inequality there. So at the end of the day, they're not at the same level for now. So let's just leave it the way it is and pray that things can get better. Maybe more money will come into the women's game, and they will see how they will enjoy. At club level, is it the same? Why is she clamoring for international football? At club level, I mean, the Manchester City ladies player does not earn the same. The best player there does not earn 1/10 of what the best player in the men's team. Yeah, exactly. So why are we arguing over this?
The final gets on the way in about 43 minutes from now. USA, Netherlands. At this point, who are you picking to go all the way?
It's also difficult to look beyond the USA. They have beaten the defending champions, France, in the quarterfinal. They took out England in the semi-finals. I mean,
defending champions or hosts?
Sorry, the host. Sorry. They did beat France, the host, in the quarterfinal. They themselves are actually defending champions. And they are the most successful team in the tournament. 3 titles. They have gone in for their 4th, title, today against the Netherlands. Netherlands 2016 we are the European champions. They are the European champions, and they've also done well to get to this level. It's a battle of 2 of the finest teams in the competition: European champions versus world champions. I think I will fancy the US side, because of their consistency. They beat Japan 5-2 in the final last time, in Canada. They have been consistent this time around, and they have some of the finest players when it comes to women's football. I mean, Alex Morgan, for one, has 6 goals in this tournament, even though she scored 5 in one match against Thailand. But of course, in her you have a proven goal scorer. Take nothing away from her. Callie Lloyd, who shone like a million stars even at the last World Cup, is still in this team. Megan Rapinoe, the woman in the center of the controversy, is with the side. She's the captain of the side, and with such array of stars, you want to think they should get it right. But take nothing away from the Dutch ladies. They've equally done quite well. Have lots of brilliant names in their side as well that can take the game to the US side. For me, but I will put my money on the United States team to get it.
It may now have come to you as a surprise that the coach of Egypt has been sacked. Javier Aguirre. And of course, the president of the federation also resigned. It's the best interest for him to step down.
You can't lose in the round of 16 in a game, a tournament you're hosting. You have the best player in Africa in your team, back to back, a Champions League winner, some of the finest legs on the continent, Trezeguet of this world, Wada, El Neni, the Arsenal man, and what have you. And he lost to South Africa side that managed only one win against Namibia in the last day. Exactly. They were beating, their first two games, and we thought they would not even qualify. And you're playing at home. That's the price we pay. It's unfortunate, but I think they deserve to be sacked there. If Nigeria had lost yesterday to Cameroon, I'm sure Ron would have been sacked by now too. We are not even playing at home.
But the president will not have resigned.
I know, he doesn't. The president, the NFL president don't resign here. They will give you excuses why the team failed there.
And of course, let's go to other matters this afternoon. And of course, in the course of the week, Frank Lampard was announced as the manager of Chelsea. And of course, speaking at his first press conference, the former England international believes that he's up for the challenge as the manager of Chelsea.
My playing career is done, so it's great memories, great challenges along the way. And I always loved the challenge. Coming here 19 years ago was a challenge because I remember driving home and I had the radio on and some people were questioning whether I should be here for £11 million. I worked really hard to try and put that right as a player, and now I'm in a position where I'm going to work really hard to be successful as a manager here. And when I started out in management 1 year ago, I felt last year was a huge challenge because you start a game. I don't want credit for my playing career. I think it will last 5 minutes. And I understand that it should last 5 minutes because I should be judged on what I do here and what I do going forward. So yeah, the challenge is for me here at a club like Chelsea to show that now going forward.
And of course, former English international talking about Geoffrey Charles Horster insists that the expectations would be really high for new manager Frank Lampard, from 7-year-old who remains the only player to score a hat-trick in a World Cup final. Hopes for the best for Frank Lampard.
Well, one thing is certain, it's a meteoric rise from anybody that's had one season with a championship club and did very well, to then go to one of the biggest clubs in the country where expectancy is very high to keep in that top six and then of course the top four. But if anybody can do it, I think I played with his father a long time. He was a very disciplined player, and Frank shows all the elements of his father's discipline and success on the field, and his behaviour on the field and off the field has been terrific. And if anybody can do it, but it's a huge task. It's a huge task to go to one of those top six with one season in the championship, no matter who you are, even if you're the great Frank Lampard. It's going to be tough. But it wouldn't surprise me either way. It may be too early, but it wouldn't surprise me if he goes and gets him in the top four, because I think he's a quality player, he's a quality person, and I think it would not be a surprise. But it's a huge task, one season in the championship, to go and do well and keep Chelsea in the top six.
And of course, there's a school of thought that feels that he's too young for the job. Let me come to you, Victor, quickly. You think this is too big a job for Frank Lampard to handle?
I think it's a gamble that the management of Chelsea and under the Roman Abramovich, it's a gamble that they were willing to take. We saw look at Zinedine Zidane. I mean, he had a first time where he coached a team, and eventually he did well. Look at the likes of even Pep Guardiola. So maybe this is a gamble that they are willing to take. Frank Lampard, in his first season with Derby County, he did quite well, you want to say. I mean, took them to the finals of the playoffs. Would have gotten them through to the Premier League, but was unable to do so. Lost to Aston Villa in the finals. But then I think it's just a gamble. Maybe he would do well. Maybe he won't do well. No one knows yet. No one knows how he's going to handle the pressure that comes with playing in the Premier League, and also comes with managing a side as big as Chelsea. Like I said, it's a gamble. Maybe he's going to take it. Let's just hope and see.
Reliance, there's a school of thought. Former Chelsea manager and coach, talking to a player himself, Ruud Gullit, says he's done nothing in the world of coaching to merit this job on a full-time basis. He felt Zola should have been given this job for him to assist him. You think he's right?
I buy into that idea, top striker. Ask Thierry Henry. When he took over the job at Monaco, I was one of those who faulted him for doing that. I know the situation between Monaco and Chelsea completely different, but it's still close. Zinedine Zidane is succeeding at Real Madrid. Zinedine Zidane didn't just take over that job like that. I think it was somewhere in the technical crew before he was eventually announced the manager. So I would have wanted.
He was the coach of the B team.
The B team,
yeah, thank you. So I would have loved Frank Lampard, to ride on that particular slide, maybe as an assistant manager, then eventually or much later, you understand, you give him the job at full-time basis. I faulted Thierry Henry completely, and now the only concession I'm going to give for Frank Lampard is that unless Chelsea are willing to lower their expectations, then Frank Lampard will be given time to excel.
They'll have to lower their expectations.
Emeka, it's also the price of what they're going to pay him. Maybe he's going to, of all the candidates they have, they're going to pay him the less compared to the likes of Allegri, who is also vacant at the moment, Luis Enrique and the rest of them. Do you think that's one of the reasons why Chelsea went for him? And looking at the fact that the transfer ban, looking around the CAS and all what have you, they will be able to get players, big players. So perhaps they can go with Frank Lampard, pay him less, and of course not expecting too much from him.
But we know money has not been an issue with Chelsea. The owner is a very rich man.
But he's not been spending the last couple of years.
Yes, but of course, maybe they've not been able to
get becoming an issue.
Maybe they've not been able to get the right kind of players too, and all that. The players were on huge wages. Eden Hazard alone, how much did they make from that deal? Almost £100 million from that deal. They moved to Real Madrid. So money is not necessarily the issue in this case. I'm thinking that they have gone with a man that knows the club inside out. A man that spent over 10 years at the club, winning laurels. He knows the dressing room. He knows these players. He played with, maybe a few of them, or maybe, he knows the training ground very well. He knows the philosophy of the team. He knows, how to go about the business. As a player, he was the leader. So as a coach too, they think, he will also succeed. Having worked with this club very well and for a long time, in his playing days. Now, here's the thing. Frank Lampard is relatively a greenhorn in coaching. Derby County job, the first full-time job. You wouldn't say he was a failure at Derby County. Took them to the playoffs final, and somehow they lost to Aston Villa, and they couldn't get that one right. But of course, in just one season, we had some more established coaches that couldn't do that with other clubs in the Championship. So he has garnered the experience as a coach, albeit for just one season. Is it enough for him to work at Chelsea? It's a gamble, like Victor said initially. It's a gamble. It can happen. We've seen it happen for some other managers. Pep Guardiola at Barcelona stepped off from the Barcelona B to the main team. The rest is history. Today he's one of the best coaches in the world. He didn't have all the experience in the world.
And the rest.
You understand? Zinedine Zidane, we also talked about him. In fact, in his first season with Real Madrid, he won the Champions League. What more can you ask for a coach? He repeated that as if it was not to show you that it wasn't a fluke. Today he's back at Real Madrid. Hopefully next season we'll have a successful outing and all that. We have seen several coaches who have moved to big managerial positions without relative experience, and still succeed. But I've also seen some who did not succeed. You will always talk about Thierry Henry and all that. So it's a gamble. It's neither here nor there. But somehow I think if he's given time, and
I was going to come to that. Will Chelsea be patient for him?
That is a big question, top striker, because the manager, the owner of the club, has shown us that he's not a patient man. One season he didn't do well. At most the 2 seasons you're out of the club. Even the great Mourinho, who is our most successful manager, was not given enough time in his second coming as well. So at the end of the day, you look at it that if he doesn't get them to play in Europe next season, they're already in the Champions League. They play in the Champions League. They won the Europa Cup. They will also play in the Champions League by finishing third in the league. So at the end of the day, if he doesn't at least give them Champions League football again for next season, that will be timed the failure. And they might not be patient enough with him. Let's see how it goes. For me, it's a gamble. This club is facing the transfer ban too. That we'll see them not signing players
for the next,
two windows, this summer and January, and by next summer they will be able to sign. So how will they cope? A lot of players are being recalled from their loan moves to the club to see how they can fortify the team should their cash appeal not go through. At the end of the day, if they're able to get the team solid enough for him to campaign in the Premier League, it might work for him. But let's not forget the other big teams, Liverpool, especially Manchester City, are strengthening. They are really strengthening. These are teams that are already solid. They are still adding players to the team. You understand? So Chelsea are not doing that now because of the transfer ban. Then how will they compete with the big boss? Probably they're not going for the title. They will not go for the title with this kind of team. It's common knowledge, with what Liverpool did last season, with what Manchester City did, on the field of play. Look at the gap between the second place team Liverpool and the third place team Chelsea. So over 20 points. So at the end of the day, it might be difficult for them to challenge with the big boss. With the current situation, the team are right now.
And of course, to the program today, Sport Live. Let's go pay some bills, and we'll come back. We shall be taking your calls to get your reaction on what to expect. And of course, from Frank Lampard as the manager of Chelsea. Don't go anywhere. The program does make a return.
Breaking news. NBA Forex and Capital Investment Limited, your number one Forex institute in Nigeria, launches a new office at Waterlines, Port Harcourt. All residents of GRA, Waterlines, D-Line, Stadium Road, and Old GRA, you now have the opportunity to enroll and invest with NBA Forex and Capital Investment Limited at number 159 Aba Road, Waterlines Junction, Port Harcourt, River State. And remember, the old office still remains at GU Ake Road, adjacent to Unity Filling Station, Elioso, Port Harcourt. Or you can also call 0808-595-3225, 0816-295-3970, or 0705-461-3070. Or you can send an email to info@mbaforex.org. NBA Forex and Capital Investment Limited, your journey to financial freedom.
Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
And of course, welcome back to the program today, Sport Live, reaching live on Today95.1 FM, right here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. And of course, we told you earlier that Argentina won the third place match in the Copa America. They defeated Chile 2-1, and Lionel Messi was sent off and accused the organizers of being corrupt. He said the tournament has been organized for Brazil to win the tournament. And of course, what do you make about that? And of course, we told you earlier that USA will be up against Holland in the finals today. The game is about to get underway. Under 30 minutes from now, the final will get underway. And of course, the coach of Egypt was sacked yesterday after the defeat to South Africa, while the president of the federation also resigned his post, saying it was disastrous for the team. What do you make about all this? Keep the calls coming through. We told you earlier about tennis and wrestling all on the show. Keep the calls coming through. 0817-000-951. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Eric calling from Port Harcourt.
Eric, welcome. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, first of all, I want to ask what the Rafael Nadal playing in his match.
He won in straight sets, 6-2, 6-3, 6-2.
Okay, thank you. And also,
that was yesterday.
Yeah, Joe Fresonga.
Okay, and then for Messi, I think what he says is completely true. It's very true. They just.
How do you know? Have you been to Copa America before?
I watched the semi-final. See, I love Brazil because I'm a Liverpool fan. I love Alisson Becker and everything, but I saw those things. It is true. And again, for this male football, even in the next 20 years, they will never be like male football. So I don't know. They should stop disturbing themselves. And for Lampard, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, for Lampard, he's taking a big risk. I think he and his friend Oleg on Associate, they will finish like centre back. You know what I mean? 5 and 6. 5 and 6 next season. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. It feels Frank Lampard might just go the way of Ole, who is still at the wheel. Hello, good afternoon.
Yes, I think you did to Tomola the once again, top striker.
Obina, welcome back.
Hello?
Go ahead, welcome.
Top striker, believe you me, Arteta is a more tested manager than Frank Lampard. I'm talking about Mikel Arteta, the assistant coach of Manchester City. He's a far more tested player than Frank Lampard.
What has Arteta done?
Yes?
What has he done?
What has Frank Lampard done?
Arteta.
What has Frank Lampard done?
He took a team to the final of the championship playoff.
Derby County is not a bad team if you know the championship very well. It's not a bad team at all in the championship. When I hear this comparison of Guardiola and Zidane first time as a coach, I don't understand it. You cannot use the level of players Guardiola inherited in Barcelona or the ones Zidane met in Real Madrid to compare the current players Chelsea have now. Chelsea has over 48 players.
This Chelsea won the Europa League last season and finished third in the league. They won the Europa League last season. I hope you are aware.
Yes.
Without even losing a match.
Oh, yes.
So they don't have good players. Is that what you're saying?
I said you cannot use the level of players because this Guardiola and the game comparison keeps coming up when you're talking about you taking these inexperienced people to take a big team. The same thing came up when you wanted to make this one that with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, which I cautioned them, but they were fighting this Guardiola and became this thing. You cannot use the players Guardiola inherited for Barcelona and compare with Chelsea current squad. Chelsea has 48 players on loan. It's only Zuma that is active. So when I mean active, it's only Zuma. So I don't think that I wanted Chelsea at least
to is active as well.
Of Manchester City. But believe you, is that it's like they've all agreed to allow Guardiola to this English league as he likes. Because Klopp, I know, cannot match him. Let's just forget that last season fluke. Klopp cannot match Guardiola in England, and Guardiola he has started it this season. I tell you, he will do what Martin O'Neill did in Scotland with Celtic. That's exactly what Guardiola is going to do, because Klopp cannot match him. I was thinking Chelsea will get a more competent coach, but believe me, it's like they didn't learn from Manchester United.
Okay.
Talking about 11, thank God that all those Mourinho people, Henry has done his own, Posco has done his own, and Finettel has done his own too. He cannot even win a Swedish team on the top place.
Okay, thank you, Obina. We've gotten your point so far. Let's wait and see what happens when the season gets on the way right here in England. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is no photocopy.
Welcome to the program. Let's hear from you.
Okay, I will start with Messi, saying that the competition was organized for Brazil to win. I don't take that at all, because if I see him, I will ask him one question or two. The year that they lost back to back, which they host to Chile, the competition that year, which country do they host to win? And I will also ask him, if Peru win Brazil today in the final, will you still believe that the competition was organized for Brazil to win?
Yeah, you can only ask him that after the final.
Exactly.
Yeah, I will still ask him. Had he been that Peru win to the final, will he have made that statement? I think sometimes when you want to take a particular thing in life, it does not come their way. God knows the reason it doesn't come. We just thank God and forget about it, and that is not the end of the world. Then concerning Frank Lampard, nobody has the power to know what will happen tomorrow until when it happens. I think we should allow him and see what will happen. Let the people who appoint him live or die with their decision. But I don't know whether it will perform well, whether it will not perform well. But as a football fan, I think that it's a big risk. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Right there, he thinks only time with George. How Frank Lampard fares as the manager of Chelsea. Back to the phone lines. Hello, good afternoon. Your name and location, please.
Yeah,
Albert, welcome. Let's hear from you.
Okay, I think from Nepal, maybe definitely we will succeed. But if you look at the team, they still have some decent players in the team. And you know that this guy that bought from Borussia Dortmund, Christian Pulisic, is a very decent player. You can make a difference in Chelsea. They still have some players that are good in that team. I see him succeed in Chelsea. You understand? So at least he has some experience in the championship of football. And then for Lionel Messi and what have you, that Argentina team. The national team is not good. And it's time they should allow some players to leave because of their age. Argentina is a sentimental country. They play you based on the kind of clubs you play and with your personality. They don't care all those ones who are better in the team. That's why they keep on crumbling. So for now, Argentina is not a better team. But for Emeka, I want to tell Emeka that for today, USA will lose to Netherlands by a good amount.
Wait and see.
Forget about it. Forget the pedigree. USA will lose to you. Netherlands is good. They are decent. Those guys are fantastic. So surprise USA.
It's okay.
It's going to end 1-0. So they will defeat them in USA by good to nothing. So I want to see a new champion in the female World Cup. So Netherlands will get that one today.
Okay, thank you so much. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Maggie, calling from Port Harcourt.
Welcome to the program. Let's hear from you.
Oh, okay. I want to comment about the USA lady saying that the people are not giving the respect that they deserve. I think talking about shutting down the World Cup for last week, the men are the one playing the World Cup, so there's no how you might have an AFCON or any other tournament going on when the male World Cup is on, because the men are the one playing that particular tournament. And talking about the postponement of every other tournament, they are playing their own. The men are also playing theirs. Everybody has their own calendar. Like now we have the AFCON.
But their calendar is clashing with that of the men.
With that of what?
Well, with other competitions. It wasn't like that last year during the FIFA World Cup.
Because the men we are the same people playing the World Cup.
That's what I'm saying. You could have arranged in such a way that they will play their own. The whole world will just focus on their own and watch them too, like we did for the men last year.
The thing is that everybody has their own calendar. We have the champions.
We are saying the same thing. They all have their calendar, but arrange the calendar in such a way that one competition doesn't clash with the other. Since you're looking for publicity for the women's game.
There's no way that can happen.
No, it can happen. It can happen. They can rearrange it. Have you forgotten that in Africa here, AFCON, we played AFCON in 2012 and also played in 2013. Just adjust the calendar.
Well, somehow, but they shouldn't cry much because that's what the
sorry, we lost that call. Do you want to call us back if you can? Hello, good afternoon. Okay. Hello? A silent caller right there. Emeka, have something to say?
Top striker, to be nice to see the Netherlands win this one. Now, it's the World Cup. I mean, be it men or women, World Cup is World Cup, right? Now, the guys have suffered 3 heartbreaks already at the World Cup final.
True.
I mean, 1974 when they lost to Germany 78 when they lost to Argentina, and in 2010 when they were beaten by Spain. 3 finals and they lost there. But if the guys can do it today, it will cushion the heartbreak.
Quite an uphill task against the USA.
I mean, that is it.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Your name and location?
Ifeanyi from Omagua.
Ifeanyi, welcome. Let's hear from you.
I don't like people telling me that Lampard is not good, or people like Mourinho, Pep Guardiola. They started one day. They said the journey of 1,000 miles starts the system. They should allow him.
Okay, they will allow him. Just wait, Chelsea will give him that chance. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Eric again.
Eric, welcome back. Let's hear from you.
Please, I forgot to say something. And these US women, the way they are talking, if FIFA plan them, they will lose this final series. And I see them losing the final. I want Netherlands to win. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you. All the heroes I know.
Let's meet you.
All the heroes I know is made in a particular day, in a particular moment. So you don't just say one place without time for you to be a hero. Let's allow the man. He might even go qualify Chelsea for Champions League. I know they are not aiming for the league title, but I think why they hired him, in my own opinion, for him to stabilize Chelsea. Eventually, if they don't leave their band to stand players, let them maintain at least top 3 or top 4. I think he's a pass mark. He's not there to win the Champions League or to win the league. Top striker, I'll send it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, top striker. Good afternoon.
Faith, welcome to the program. Let's hear from you.
Thank you. Talking about this US casting, I think she's really talking too much. Honestly, she's really not. For me, I'm not really going with the way she talks, because there's nothing like these people are disrespecting the ladies, because I mean, it's been long the men's World Cup started, and then you expect the whole thing. Although I was telling somebody the other day that I think the reason the women's World Cup will not have enough may not be up to standard, because I was telling my brother, because USA have reached the finals again, like after they won the last one. So that makes it looks as if it's not. I told my brother that this is the men's competition, the men's World Cup is more competitive than the women's own. So he was kind of agreeing with me. So I told him, okay, that I think they are not giving the ladies enough attention, because some countries they don't have women leagues.
Hello. We lost that call right there. Do have to call us back if you can this afternoon. Before we call it a wrap this evening, let's talk some transfers in the studio. Where Man United midfielder Paul Pogba wants to leave the club. His agent Mino Raiola has told the Times Pogba has been absent from pre-season training this week, adding to speculation about his long-term future. In June, Pogba said now could be a good time to find a new challenge. And Raiola has now told the Times everyone knows the willingness of Paul to move on. We are in the process of that. Everyone knows what the feeling of Paul are. And of course, we just heard this morning that Paul Pogba and Lukaku are joining the team to Austria for preseason. The man overtly wants to go. Madrid are offering Isco or Bale with £73 million. That should be good enough.
Juventus are also interested to get him back.
Exactly. So I think at this point, why you don't think United should capitalize on that and let him go?
Well, it's an irony, honestly. This man, Mourinho was practically sad because of him, and at the end of the day, he's leaving a few months after. He's not been fair to Manchester United, to say the least. But of course, football is the name of the game, movement. I think he should go to Real Madrid. It's the best club in the world, and at the end of the day, he stands the chance of also winning laurels there. With the serial winner in Zinedine Zidane, with the kind of additions they have made. What's his name? The former Chelsea man.
Hazard.
He comes with a huge ego and reputation as well for Pogba himself. I mean, he's played for some of the finest clubs in the world, and I think he will also excel there. I think Spain should be the next destination for him.
And of course, Everton owner Fahad Moshiri wants the Toffees to look into signing Atletico Madrid and Spain striker Diego Costa as he looks to make a statement signing this summer. Diego Costa to Everton. Has it brought down low?
Well, I think they can. Everton, if they want to sign him, they should sign him. The truth is, Atletico Madrid, they don't look like. I don't see them being able to tame the anger and the. I don't want to use the word beast-like nature, but of course we know that Diego Costa comes with a lot of baggages, and it looks like Diego Simeone seems to have gotten tired of him. Will Kingsley Coman.
And Morata just signed a new contract.
Yeah, Morata has signed a permanent deal.
On permanent deal.
Felix has joined the club.
Exactly.
So it looks like Diego Costa would most likely be on the bench. So if going to coming back to the Premier League, but this time with Everton, would be a good deal for the player. And if the management of Everton would be able to calm him down, then no problem.
While Man City boss Pep Guardiola is set to offer 34-year-old midfielder Fernandinho a new deal, just days after signing club record transfer Rodri as his long-term replacement. David De Gea looks set to finally commit his future to Man United, with the 28-year-old goalkeeper set to sign a new £350,000 a week 5-year deal to remain at Old Trafford. Then, of course, £350,000 a week just after they gave Marcus Rashford £300,000. You think they're overly being paid?
For Marcus Rashford.
You think they're overly being paid?
No, not really. The market these days has been inflated. So whatever a player gets, I think he may not worth it, looking at the player, but with the atmosphere of the market as it is, top striker, you must agree that he's not overly paid. You understand? It's just going with the flow and the trend of what the transfer market offers these days.
It's going to be a discussion for another day, Mecca. Do you think FIFA and UEFA have what it takes to regulate player transfer and what player earns in the world of football? Just like the NBA, players earn.
There's a salary cap in the
yes,
NBA.
it's being
not
regulated.
Like that in football.
Do you think the way it's going, 119 million euros for a certain Joao Felix, 19 years of age? You think FIFA and UEFA can come together to moderate this thing?
Top striker, if Neymar or Mbappe were to move today, they can move for about £300 million.
Yes.
As things stand, Neymar already moved for £220 million when he moved from Barcelona to PSG. Mbappe himself close to that amount as
198.
well. So it will get to a point where in fact we're already there. Where if you don't, it's a question of the highest bidder. The clubs with the biggest pockets, so to say, will be the ones buying the high quality players.
Some 7 years ago, Menga said the time is going to come when with £100 million you cannot buy a player. People said thought he was joking, and
we are there already now.
Come there.
We are there already now. The reason Eden Hazard went for just £100 million or so was because he had only 2 years left on his contract. If he had signed a new contract at Chelsea that would have kept him there to 2024, come on, he would have broken the 200 million mark.
So do you think FIFA and UEFA can regulate it? Maybe there should be evaluation of players so that it becomes better in that way.
It's difficult. I mean, these players are signed based on their prospect or maybe their quality. You cannot say let's go and get What was the assistant Chelsea goalkeeper? The one from South America, the Argentine. What's his name?
Caballero.
You cannot put him in the same
bracket
with maybe David De Gea. You understand? One, he's old. Two, he's not better than De Gea. De Gea we know is, high quality goalkeeper. Now, if you say you want to place a salary cap or maybe a transfer fee, how are you going to do it? People like that, how do you even regulate that? So it's a question of the financial fair play rule. That's what they have used now. But of course, clubs have huge money. They can still sell players and make money as well to balance their books. So it's difficult. It's a question of the big clubs. Why is it that you have the big clubs always going for the Champions League football, especially from England?
And of course, quickly, Marko Arnautovic has passed a medical to go to Shanghai SIPG for £22.4 million. You think he's too young to go to China, or you think he's already 30?
He's already 30. He's already 30 right now. He needs the cash. I think hardly would you see managers who turn down such offers. The report came out earlier today that
Jose Mourinho
turned down £88 million from the richest man in China, the owner of Guangzhou Evergrande. Very hardly would you see that happening. Mourinho knows what he wants, but then if you give any player, such amount, I'll go over to China.
And of course, and lastly, former Chelsea Bayern Munich winger Ian Robben has retired at the age of 35. You think he still has something left in him to offer? Think it's the right time to call it quits?
It's the right time. I think he has done a lot in the sport. He has a lot, in his gallery in terms of achievement. So I was even wondering at some point, where is this man getting the energy to play the way he plays at 30, 31, 32? So for him, it's the right time to quit.
Rebecca, I feel so too.
No, of course, he has paid his dues. There's nothing left to win again, apart from the World Cup. He came very close with the Dutch team in 2010. He won the Champions League with Bayern Munich, won several league titles, the Cup there, he has seen it all. He played for some of the finest clubs in the world, including Chelsea and Real Madrid. So what more can you ask for from such a player?
And of course, it's a wrap on the show this evening. Before we go, former West Ham midfielder Sami Nasri has joined his ex-Man City teammate Vincent Kompany at Belgian side Anderlecht. If not for anything, at least for your heart, do some sport. Wisdom Obina and the rest of the guys comes up by 4 p.m. to tell you all about Nigerian football and what to expect. What we saw yesterday, and of course, Nigeria has a date against South Africa come Wednesday, 8 p.m. Keep it locked at 4 p.m. Wisdom Obina and the rest of the guys continue the rest of the show.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Good to have you here. Representatives from Daily Income, Engineer Offer Monday. He's the MD CEO Funny Vision Nigeria Limited. Good to have you here.
Good morning.
Mr. Gabriel Hero, entrepreneur.
Thank you. Good morning.
Engineer Victor Etin. Good to have all of you here.
Good morning.
For the sake of the so many who have not heard this, and I'll be surprised if they haven't, but for the sake of those who haven't, what is Daily Income Stores?
Okay, for those who are tuning in for the first time to this frequency, Daily Income Store is a physical store here. Of course, that all you need to do is to walk into this store to do your own shopping. Of course, and then after your shopping, you have to drop your account details. Why do you have to do that? So that as other people are shopping from that same store, you'll be getting daily income or daily alert. And the good news is that this store sells things that we cannot do without. For example, you are hearing me right now. You cannot stay without not brushing your mouth. You're going to use chewing stick or toothpaste. You cannot stay without not taking your bath. You're going to use solid soap, liquid soap, or solid soap. That means human being daily needs and want cannot be satisfied. All these things are available in Daily Income Stores. Your normal daily needs and want, things you cannot do without. So all you need to do is to walk into Daily Income Stores only once in a year to do your shopping. Then you drop your account details. As other people are shopping after you from the same store, you'll be getting daily income. We are already 13 years in over 100 countries. We are already 7 years in Nigeria. And we are telling you we are holding a big business event because some people don't know about this. That are holding a training to show them how things work. And of course, if you are already hearing me and you're looking forward to have an extra income, looking forward to have a project, for financing a project, you need money to actually take it to a level. We can show you this opportunity. You go to Daily Income Stores, you do your shopping. Of course, you drop your account details. And so people are shopping after you, you'll be getting daily income. So if you're interested to be part of this event, we're going to give you details more soon.
What makes this store different? What's the innovation? What's special about Daily Income Stores?
Honestly speaking, I've been saying this over and over again. What makes us different is this. Traditionally, walk into any store, what you do is that you give money in exchange for goods or services. That's what you do traditionally. And of course, you walk out of the store. Transaction has been completed. But in Daily Income Stores, you don't just give money in exchange for goods or services. The company will give you an opportunity to drop your account details. That's what makes us different. That's what makes us unique. That's what makes us quite it's called that advancement in technology. That is the innovation about our business.
All right then. So shop and then drop your account
details.
And as people shop after you
in that same particular store, not all the stores.
That's okay. Not all the stores.
Not all the stores.
Okay.
There's a particular store you go to do your shopping. This store is already 7 years in Nigeria.
Mr. Gabriel Hero, how real is this? How true is this? Has this happened to you before?
For me, my experience with daily income stores is phenomenal. And that's because as a business coach and a mentor, I'm always very keen to know the root of everything I'm into, especially when I look at the relationship between myself and the people I'm mentoring. So at Daily Income Stores, I've come to realize that for every budding entrepreneur, they have the necessary business skill that's required of anybody who wants to go out there and make money. And you're not just making money. In today's world, there's what we call sustainable development. And for you to have a sustainable development, you have to think of a sustainable source of income. And Daily Income Source is one store that gives you that guarantee that you can actually make money on a sustainable basis. For example, my personal testimony, when I went to Daily Income Source for the very first time.
When did you hear them on radio, just like this?
Yeah, already. I was driving. I was driving to my normal business day. I heard them talking about Daily Income Source over the radio. So I picked interest. I got the number. I text. I think that day it was text something. Enjoy. Yes. So I was keen to really enjoy the ride with Daily Income. So I got there, I sat down, I listened to everything. Their seminar presentation was awesome, and the guys were very nice with me as a person. So then I asked a few questions and they answered me adequately. Then I shopped, and after shopping, they asked me to drop my account number, which was something I've never seen before. And I thought, is this for online? I said, okay, let me just drop the account number. So I did. I left the account number with them. Got their product home. Their products were very awesome. The beverages, everything were wonderful. Share with my neighbors, and they loved it. Then a few days later, I got an alert in my phone. And it was from Telecom. So at that point, I was convinced that for real, this thing is legitimate. This thing is real.
It's real.
And people are actually making a lot of money at Daily Income Stores.
Okay, good. So I'm also going to ask Mr. Victor now to share his experience.
All right, thank you very much. My humble self, I actually heard about Daily Income Stores on radio. Actually, it was on a Saturday because I worked in one of the multinationals, and no, I don't work on Saturdays. So it was on a Saturday. I tuned to my radio. I heard about Daily Income Stores where you shop once, you drop your account number, you get paid as other customer shops after you. Of course, the first day I heard, I doubted it. I did not believe it. I was wondering how possible was it that you're going to shop, then you get paid as other customer shops from the same store. It was the second Saturday I heard about it again. I said, okay, a question came to me, have you not used toothpaste? I answered myself, I've used toothpaste. So why not go and see? I went to the program. On getting there, I saw that the products they actually had were all NAFDA certified, toothpaste, soap, beverages, things that we use every day. Of course, they are packed in hampers. I decided to pick an hamper for myself. Before I left, I dropped my account details. I got home, I told my wife about it. We used the product. It was awesome. Of course, I told all my neighbors and every other person. Wednesday, they did their shopping. But today, a few days later, I got an alert. I must confess to you that what I'm getting from Daily Income Stores today has been wow. I don't want to mention figures on the air, but for those that are listening.
They're looking at you, and this has been consistent. As people have continually
as other people keep shopping from the same stores. Of course, so 2 years. That's what I'm saying. For 2 years now, it's not what it's just happening.
Daily Income money 2 years
Of course, it's not new. That's why we are here in this city to tell the people about it.
So who can be part of the training?
Actually, we are expecting to see everybody. We are expecting doctors, engineers, commissioners, educated, not educated. As far as you are spending money every day, you deserve to make money every day from Daily Income Stores. At least everybody, of course, need an extra income. And definitely it's a one opportunity for you. I shopped 4 years ago. So I've been getting daily alerts for the past 4 years. So you are doubting, come and see me at the venue of the program. And it's going to happen today and tomorrow. No African time. By 11 o'clock for the morning section. You cannot come by morning. We have the evening section by 4 p.m. It's an hour training. We have question time for question and answer. For those who want to actually do their shopping, you can do it at the venue of the program. You can pick your packages at the venue of the program. You can always drop your account number because bankers are always there for those who don't have account number to open the account. So we have free product for the first 100 participants. No more thing. But we normally have crowds in our program, so we're increased to 100 right now. So if you're interested, just text the word enjoy. For those who want to enjoy in 2019, I think you're going to get me call the number. Please text the word enjoy.
Just text enjoy to this number
0706 252 6546. 0706 252 6546. 0706
Okay, so I know that this is fantastic. I mean, you said you've been with it 2 years, you had 4 years, you last year, and then it has been awesome. But as we all know, with every business, there's got to be some risk to it. There must be something about the job that you must tell people that see you.
Okay. Sure. There's a risk involved. The risk involved is that if you shop from Daily Income stores and no one else shop from that store, the store cannot pay us because
that particular store now.
That particular store. It's not Ponzi scheme, it's not cryptocurrency, it's not charity organization, it's not an NGO. This is a real business opportunity. So, but the question is that would there ever be a time people will not shop from the store? The answer is no. People keep shopping every day. For the past 7 years, this store has been in Nigeria. We are shopping every single day, and of course, the good news is that we get daily income. And I think let him say the final word because we're running out of time.
All right, go ahead. Let me have the final
word. For those sitting at home still doubting, is it real? Is it possible? I want to tell you, for 2 years now, I've been earning this money. The first day I had, I actually doubted it. So for you to be part of this program, like we said, you need to text us "enjoy" to this number so that we can reserve a seat for you. The numbers
0706 252 6546. 0706 252 6546.
Light green was the color yesterday right there in Alexandria, Egypt, when the Super Eagles feasted on the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. Of course, they went down 2-1 at some point in that game, but bounced back to secure comfortable, convincing, if you ask me, in terms of performance, the best performance they've put out so far in the Nations Cup. 3-2 it ended with goals from Alex Iwobi and, of course, 2 goals from that man from China, who plays in China, that is Odion Igalo. And on that note, we welcome you to the second half of today's Sports Life, this beautiful Sunday evening, reaching you from your news talk and your premium news talk and sports radio station, Today 95.1 FM, here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. Of course, a lot has been happening, I tell you. After that game, a lot of talks about it, and even what happened on the pitch. Some people saying it's the best performance. Some others also saying we had 1 or 2 issues and challenges. And guess what? We know our next opponents. They are the Bafana of South Africa. We'll be talking about all these and a whole lot more, as much as the games that will be coming up by 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. today, respectively. Yes, another set of a round of 16 encounters. It was all about the Super Eagles, I tell you. But of course, there was that shocker for the host nation, talking about Egypt. The show is packaged to be interactive, so we encourage you to be part of it by hitting us on any of our feedback platforms.
When you think you deserve some rest, because after you've had a very, very hectic day before, and maybe your head is just not there, and you just
That is 0701 933 9962, or you can also tweet at us at Today FM 951. That is Today FM 951. That's if you're on Twitter. Tweet at us as Today FM 951, or you can also send your tweets or copy me at wisdom_OB. That is WISDOM wisdom_OB. And of course, we'll be reading your tweets live here on the show.
My name is Gianni Infantino, FIFA president. For the best of sports, always listen to Today Sports Live on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Why you the one?
you so worried? Let me answer why you worry. Why you so worried? I don't understand though. Why you so worried? Answer where? I don't go let you down. Why you so worried? Why you so worried? Why you so worried? Why you so worried? We can sing hallelujah. Heroes are winning today. Hallelujah. Heroes are winning today. Hey, sing more, that's
Well, of course, that was the feeling right there. I just had to allow that one rope in. Yes, the Super Eagles singing and, of course, excited and happy going back to their hotel after that wonderful, exciting, thrilling win over the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. I couldn't let it play on. We could have gotten to hear where they sang for the man himself, talking about Kanu Nwankwo. Yes, he was present in that stadium yesterday. Some say his presence was what actually inspired them to win. And of course, the players were also singing for him right there. But of course, it's happiness and joy right now in Nigeria, and of course he remains the same also in another part of Africa. That place is South Africa. And we move straight, of course, into the show, where start off with the tidbits from yesterday. Super Eagles forward Odion Igalo was named man of the match in the side's 3-2 win against Cameroon, of course, in the second round of the AFCON 2019 at the Alexandria Stadium yesterday. Igalo grabbed a brace in the tightly contested encounter and also provided an assist for Alex Iwobi's third goal. The Shanghai Shenhua of China player has now scored 3 goals in the competition for Nigeria. Super Eagles forward Odion Igalo was named man of the match in the side's 3-2 win against the indomitable Lions. And of course, Chidubem, exciting match we did have, but still on. Before I come to you, we recall that Wilfred Ndidi was the man of the match in the very first game. Kenneth Miru was the man of the match in our second game. The third game, we didn't have anybody because we lost that one 2-0. But of course, Odion Igalo getting the man of the match award, well deserved, right?
Definitely. There are no two ways to that one. It was quite straightforward, unlike the first 2 games where indeed he got the first one, and there were talks about Olaino, who equally deserved to be the man of the match as well. And in the second game as well, he went to Ndidi and Omeru rather, and Ndidi also was very stellar in that game. So it was never really straightforward in the first 2 games. The third match definitely had to go to Madagascar because they were the winning side. But against Cameroon, I felt it was quite straightforward. Igalo was the standout man, getting 2 goals and an assist. That will give you player of the match in any league or any game in the world, except of course your side gets to lose that game by maybe 3-5 or something. But when you get to score 2 goals and give an assist, then there are no two ways about it. You definitely will get given that nod. And Igalo was quite good on the day. I talked about the fact that the man could be caged when you have the weapons to do that. We've seen that already in this competition twice. He's been able to be boxed into a corner, but somehow the Cameroonians were not able to do that. They provided too many spaces for Odion Igalo to make his runs. Maybe kudos also should go to the wingers, who also kept the defenders busy, and the coach as well, Clement Seedorf, who did us a very good favor by starting 3 defenders at the back, and he made the spaces even wider for Odion Igalo. Fantastic game he had yesterday. By his standards, yes, really very good game he had. In this tournament, he's already making a case for the highest goal scorer. He's got 3 goals now. He's that should be the same start tally with Sadio
Mane of Senegal.
Yeah, so and he has an assist, so that's even an added advantage to him. So good case for him for the Golden Boot. It's going to be quite a pleasure if he manages to do that. That's exactly what happened in 2013 when we won, and Emmanuel Emenike was also the highest goal scorer in that competition with 5 goals. So we might just be seeing a replica of that happening in 2019. That's if at all we manage to win the title.
All right, just to let everyone know, the FIFA Women's World Cup final is ongoing as we speak. And of course, it's between the United States of America and the Netherlands. It's still goalless in that one. The game is in the 16th minute as we speak. But still on the Super Eagles game, Super Eagles players raked in $37,500 each for their hard-earned 3-2 win against the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon. One of the team's individual sponsors, Captain Husa Okumbo, rewarded the team with $20,000 for the win, while they got $5,000 each from the Lagos state government. They also got a match-winning bonus of $12,500 and $75,000 for the 3 goals by one of Nigeria Football Federation major sponsors, ITO Group. Well, not alone in this studio with just Chidubema. Someone else joins us. It's the reliable Reliance. He did the first show, makes a return on this second part. Reliance, welcome to the show.
Hi, Wisdom. Hi, Chidubem. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here.
All right, straight to analysis now. Chidubem, Super Eagles, of course, we fed on the Lions. How did you feel when Alex Iwobi scored that final goal?
I felt I was delighted as his uncle now, JJ Okocha, who was...
With all smiles,
exactly,
I tell you.
Exactly. The man was ecstated that his cousin managed to do what he did in 2004, when he scored that beautiful sublime free kick against the Cameroonians before, I think, Peter or John Otaka? I keep confusing the names. I think it was John Otaka. No, Peter Otaka in that case, that got that goal, the final one that nailed the Cameroonians in the coffin. But I'm thinking that Alex Iwobi, too many questions have been on his neck in recent times. Arsenal talks about him not being that good. The coach had to, at a point, just try to squeeze out the most water he could get out of him. But seems at some point he didn't strike it at the highest of levels. And for Nigeria, the same thing has been happening to him. It looks like a case of a man who is so talented, maybe not able to match up the kind of potentials we think he has. And it's been the case for Alex Iwobi over the years. There's always the general belief that Alex Iwobi can do more. And maybe when that goal came yesterday, perfect timing, just a case of being at the right place at the right time, and he just had to tuck that one into the back of the net. I was very ecstatic. We saw the feeling, or we experienced the feeling rather yesterday in the studio. It was a general shout from everybody, a shout for joy, a shout for happiness, and there was no better way to get that goal. It came at the right time, just when the Cameroonians had considered that equalizer in just a matter of before you could blink twice. That killer goal came in, and I'm sure Alex will relish this moment for a long time to come.
Well, Reliance, let me come to you. The performance was far better than anything we have seen from the Eagles in the first 3 games. Who were your standout performance on the night? Performance, that's in terms of the players, the Super Eagles players.
Samuel Chukwueze, although he came in sometimes in the second half, he was for me because he brought spark into that game. He came in and psyched the mentality of the players. That particular game was more of a mental game because you could see that the Eagles dominated that game from the first quarters of the first half. But at some point, they let their guards down, and then the Cameroonians, were able to capitalize on that and then got 2 goals in quick succession. And then at some point, the Cameroonians also let their guards down. And then the Eagles, at the same time, dominated again, took the advantage of it, and then they were able to get that. So Samuel Chukwueze coming in brought some sparks. The runs he does, at the wing was incredible yesterday, and he was able to force Cameroonians to be more defensive-minded than they were in the absence of him. Because even Moses Simon was there, but he didn't do much. Even Ahmed Musa, his crosses yesterday weren't just connecting. I don't know what really happened to him anyways, but he was a stand-up performer for me, Samuel Chukwueze. And then I won't take any credit, a tiny one away from Odion Ihalo, man of the match. He was properly possessed together assists from Ahmed Musa, and then the goals he scored and everything. So I should give him that credit. There have been questions about the connectivity of the Super Eagles from the attack to the midfield. Of course, you know that you're not going to blame those who question that, because in previous games they were not as as visible as they were yesterday. There was this connection yesterday, especially from Alex Iwobi at the middle of the attack. He was there and he was trying to see how he can produce those passes, and then they were quite understandable and connecting. But in games before that time, you could see that Iwobi wasn't as creative as he was yesterday in previous games. He was quite creative, even though whatever was supposed to come in from the wings, didn't really come in as expected, because you saw the goal that South Africa scored against Egypt. You saw the pass. Now, Ahmed Musa had the opportunity to lay that kind of pass as well, but he led it, but blocked by defender, I think twice, in that game. So it will be more of decided to shoulder the responsibility of doing the creative job, dropping in the passes, and then you could see the understanding between him and Odion Igalo. He got the third goal. Odion Igalo provided the assist, and that's the understanding we are talking about. Odion Igalo dropped back due to the flow of the game, and then Alex Iwobi ventured forward, got the ball, and then scored it. So that connection was right there. So if I'm to pick stand-up performers, I will give it to Odion Igalo, Samuel Chukwueze, Alex Iwobi. Of course, the entire team, they were brilliant. For me, that is the most entertaining AFCON match I've seen since the beginning of this AFCON. I've seen quite a number of games. I've tried as much as I can to follow them. That is the most exciting AFCON match I've seen. The game between Ghana and Cameroon, was touted to be such a fixture, but it wasn't. In the end, it gave us one of those boring draws. When some games are overly hyped, these days that's what we get. You understand? But this game, not necessarily. It wasn't really hyped, but we know that these two countries are perennial rivals in terms of African Nation Cup. But they squared up against themselves, and they were able to produce a clinical match for the eyes. It was really entertaining. Wisdom.
Okay, he just said something, and I talked about this before the game. I said I was saying I would actually advise Tebo moves on a little forward so that Iwobi could go a little further. And I think when it mattered the most, that's when we decided to come all out in the attack. That's when that spark happened, that Iwobi was able to go further in forward. Then, because I don't think Igalo would go to the midfield, definitely. So even if he came back a little bit, they were both, at least there was a support for Odion Igalo rather than just leaving him out there in attack. But Chidube, some people are even of the opinion that in their own mindset, Etebo didn't do as much as he's been doing in our previous games. Which player or players do you think did not step up yesterday? Would Etebo be part of it?
No, definitely the first person that comes to your mind is Daniel Akpeyi and Olaino as well. And the reason for Olaino is because he had a better player as an opposition. The pace of Clinton in jail was no match for Olaino on any good day. He was pacier, and also he had the strength over Olaino. So I definitely didn't expect Olaino to do too much against the man from Marseille. But for Daniel Akpeyi, he's always a constant. He's always a flop. He manages to make one or two saves, but overall, you hardly can rate him above.
Did you see that flick he tried to do?
Exactly.
Oh my
exactly.
goodness.
I was almost screaming, brother, don't try that at home. But I mean, Daniel Akpeyi keeps showing us why he shouldn't be our first choice goalkeeper. But then we are not spoiled for choices. We don't have a choice. Our other keeper has been loaned to somewhere in the world. I don't know the name about.
Omonia Nicosia.
Francis Osoho. So just tells you how terrible we are as a nation at this point when it comes to goalkeepers. But generally, the game, very few players fail to step up. Because when you win a game, when you get to score 3 goals, it's difficult to state players that didn't step up. For Etebo, I thought Etebo, Etebo is that kind of roving midfielder, like a Modric. It's difficult to pin him down somewhere. It's very difficult to say, okay, go attack or play deep in defense. It's the game decides where he plays. Basically, if the game is all attacking, then you find the man doing more of the attacking job. And if the game tilts to more of a defensive style, you find Etebo doing more of the defensive job. And that's exactly where Etebo finds himself in the Super Eagles. I thought yesterday, what I noticed was that the Super Eagles don't have to stress themselves in midfield. They don't need it. Their strength is not there. We've only got a weapon in Didi, who is very solid, and what he does is just a shield over the defense. But I'm thinking going forward, we shouldn't crack our heads too much to do so much. Alex Iwobi, for all the talks about him being creative, he doesn't play as a creative midfielder for us now. He's used to playing from the wings, and if you even checked yesterday, when he walked, he actually walked in. He walked when he drifted a bit to elite to the wings to cover for the blushes of Ahmed Musa at some point. Most of the fine passes he made were drifting in from the wings, and I'm thinking going forward, I'm thinking of a club like Bayern Munich, and if I ask you now, who are the two best players, who have been the two best players of Bayern Munich in the past 5 years, I'm sure you're going to mention Ian Robben and Frank Ribery as one of the two. And for Liverpool, same thing, Sadio Mane and Mohamed Salah. These are teams who have noticed that their strengths are not in the midfield. They just have to use the flanks because that's where their strengths are. Bayern, in history, that's their style. They use the wings. Liverpool has adopted that style as well. Very strong at the wings. They don't care what happens in midfield. Yes, they've got some fairly decent players, not the best in the world anyways. Van Aldum, Henderson, they're good midfielders, but definitely won't compete with the likes of Kante or even the Modric's of this world. So they've identified their strengths and they're working through the wings. I think it's about that time Nigeria does that as well. We've got Samuel Chukwueze, who does brilliantly. Moses Simon as well. It's not a terrible player. It's not totally terrible on the wings. We've got Samuel Kalo as well, Ahmed Musa, Alex Iwobi, who I think will do better from that wings. Considering he's been used to doing that in recent times, because it looks like he's doing he tries to do too much when he's asked to play in the midfield because he's not used to it. You can't take that away from him. So I'm thinking going forward, we should try to use the wings more, and that will mean Samuel Chukwueze has to play more football. But generally in that game, I don't think too many players. Like I said, the usual suspect was Danny Akpeyi, and he didn't surprise me. He did what he knew how to do best, which is make mistakes. For all I know, like I stated, I thought he came up against the better opposition. There was no way in 5 tries, in 6 out of 5 tries, he was going to get that right. He was always going to struggle against Clinton Nje. When the game started, when Clinton Nje was on the other side of the plate, the right-hand side of attack, when he had Chidozie Awaziem to contend with, he struggled a bit because we cannot understand that Chidozie Awaziem is quite faster than Olain also, and he's also bulkier. He has the strength as well to contend with Clinton Nje. But immediately Clinton Nje swapped to the other side, it was no match. And
one man that made me shut my mouth because I was totally against him before that game was Chidozie Awaziem.
Exactly. Talks have been about him not being too good and all that, laughing to the cameras. But I thought, like I said, I think Nigeria has the best defense in this tournament, apart from the goalkeeper, obviously. When it comes to defense, the quality we've got in defense, not just names. Now, I'm talking about what they've been able to do in the last season, their form. We've got Kenneth Omorio, who I think arguably should be the best defender, or was the best defender for Leganes. Jamie Collins as well, you could say that for Paderborn. Olaino, same thing, quite one of the best, if not the best. Trustekong as well for Udinese, quite up there as well when he called the defenders for Udinese. So we have players who did very well in the past season, who are in a rich vein of form, and you expect them not to make too many mistakes. And that's why I thought Chidozie Awaziem playing out of his natural position, which is a centre back, he definitely would struggle a bit. But I thought maybe obviously rather, the reason was that the defenders, others were putting up. They hardly put up a below 70% performance, and when Chidozie Awaziem puts in a 60% performance, it now looks like 60% is poor, but that's not really the case. The case was just that the other defenders were outstanding, so average now becomes a failure, so to speak. So for me, I think Chidozie Awaziem has not been particularly terrible this tournament, just the fact that the other defenders have been quite good.
All right, tidbits from the FIFA World Cup ongoing. Sobron, that's the sporting jersey number 4 for the United States team, got injured, and there was a pause of play for some time The players used it to probably refill their strength by drinking some water, as the case may be. But of course, it seems like USA have been the threatening side. Chidubem, your eyes have been on this game?
Yeah, I have. I thought the Netherlands were going to cage the USA team, and that's exactly what I'm seeing now. The US team they are full of flair. They know how to distribute the ball nicely, even as to see another chance. But I mean, the Netherlands, they are so coordinated. I saw that game between themselves and the Swedish national team, women national team, and it looked like both teams were just smacking their heads against the brick wall, because none of them were going to cave, and they kept looking for chances, looking for spaces. But the Netherlands team, as well as the Swedish team, they rarely give you spaces, and that's what the English team suffered yesterday. They hardly got a chance to breathe in that game. The Swedish team were very compact, and that's what you're getting from the Netherlands team we're seeing now. They are very, very compact. I think it's going to take more than just routine passes from the USA team to be able to crack down this defense of the Netherlands, and of course the coordination of this side. But generally, I'm thinking this Netherlands team, they just need that very odd chance, and when they get that goal, it's very difficult to come back.
All right, danger lady now, danger woman for the two sides, just in case you're wondering. Lieke Martens, yes, she's the danger woman for the Netherlands side. And of course, Alex Morgan is also a big woman when it comes to the United States. Not forgetting Megan Rapinoe, the ageless one, who also, of course, does her own bits right there in attack. And still on the Super Eagles, let me come to you, Reliance. I want you to act like the enemy or the opposition, no, not the enemy, the opposition side that's talking about our opponents yesterday, the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon. How did they squander a fine comeback 2-1 lead from the first half? What went wrong for the defending champions of the African Cup of Nations?
Well, like I said earlier, they let down their guards. That's typically what it was for them yesterday. You were in control. You were almost in total control of the game at some point, and then suddenly something happens, from nowhere. It was more of a mental stuff. Now, you don't lose focus in a game like that. You don't lose focus when you're playing a game where you know that you are facing an opponent that is known to you. Now, for the records, Nigeria and Cameroon, both teams have met about 22 times. You understand? I don't want to go into the records of how many wins and draws and losses, but in terms of this level, maybe quarterfinals, group stages. Okay, I think this is the first time we're having around 16 in AFCON. So at knockout stages, Nigeria have the upper hand against or over Cameroon. But many of the times that Cameroon have defeated Nigeria has been maybe in finals, because no one will easily forget. Is it 19? Okay, let me now go back. That Cameroon defeated Nigeria. You understand? So, but at this level, Nigeria seems to have the upper hand, against Cameroon. So, when you're facing a team like that, where you know that at knockout stages, you don't really have that dominance over them. You don't allow anything to cause you to lose concentration. You don't lose sight on anything. But
you mean who is in
I'm talking about Cameroon now.
Yeah.
Tactical wise, both of them were 50-50. Surprisingly, Cameroon.
But they've dominated us, if you ask me, in the knockout rounds, especially in the three finals they've met us. We didn't win anyone.
That's what I'm saying. I said in the knockout stages. Now, okay, probably you want to include finals as a knockout game. True, but I decided to exclude the finals because in the finals, Cameroon have the upper hand. They've won us severally in the finals we've met. But at the later stages before the final, I think Nigeria seems to have the upper hand. You understand? And then overall, Nigeria have the upper hand as well. So now you don't lose guard, you don't lose concentration, you don't allow anything to cause you to lose sight, on your focus. On a day you are facing a perennial rival. Tactical wise in that game yesterday, it was 50-50. Surprisingly, Cameroon didn't play the normal jam body or normal physical football that they are known for. They played it against Guinea-Bissau, their first group stage match. But in this game against Nigeria, they decided to drop that and then try to come tactically. You could see Cameroon keeping the ball on the ground, knocking off passes, depending on the pace of Clinton J as well as Bazagok, to do the damage to the Nigerian, the Nigerians' defense. So when you see them coming up tactically like that, it tells you that they've decided to grow past the normal physical football we know Cameroon for. So they were at par. So everything boiled down to psychology, how you're able to psych yourself up, the mentality you're bringing to the table, your mental strength at that level, and your ability to maintain focus and concentration. Nigeria did that. Early on, they were dominating the game, making attacks, getting the first attempt at goal and all that. And then at some point, they decided to become jittery, making unforced errors just to bring in technical word from tennis now at the defense that caused them to lose their dominance. And then Cameroon on the other part gained dominance at some point, and then for whatever reason they lose their guards. They allow themselves to lose focus, and then Nigerians took advantage of it. And when the Nigerians took advantage of it, they dominated till the end. So it was more of mental strength and ability to maintain focus. And then Clarence Seedorf didn't do himself any favor taking off Clinton J. I believe that man still had enough fuel in his storehouse to prosecute that game till the end. He was still making the runs. He was still causing problems to Ola Aino. And so taking me off, I don't know, whatever it was his rationale for taking the man off, it wasn't the best of substitution. I may decide to understand taking off Pierre Malong because I think it was yellow carded in that game, probably, just to ensure that nothing results in a red card. But it was also a man that was very key at the midfield for Cameroon. He was there. Now, Choupo-Moting was like a man who shone like a million stars in that game yesterday. He was, seen by others as one of the key men for Cameroon in that game, but he didn't do quite much. He had some flaws in that game, and no cover up the flaws.
Okay, a key man before the game, not like he did well during the game.
And that's what I'm saying. I was seen as a key man. Even in the game, many persons believed that Choupo-Moting is a key in that particular encounter as he was ongoing yesterday.
He was supposed to be key, or he was
their key man yesterday. That's what I'm saying. Many persons believe that Choupo-Moting is the man that, because he made some runs and tried to create some chances. But that being said, he had many flaws in that game that was covered up by a certain Pierre Malong at more like the defensive midfield for Cameroon. So you are taking off two players that were key for you in a game like that. And Olajuwon had a space to breathe in the absence of Clinton J. You understand? And then that midfield that Nigeria didn't even, try to dominate because that's not their strength, was now open for Nigerians to utilize. You could see the brilliance of Alex Iwobi from the midfield yesterday. You could see that even what's his name, Ndidi, didn't really have much to stress himself in that midfield again. You understand? So those were the flaws from the side of the Cameroon, and in the end, it cost them the game.
All right. He's done justice to that one a little, but of course, in the game involving the United States and Netherlands, it seems the United States are all over this Netherlands side, I tell you. They just had the ball now that did strike the bar, was just stopped by the bar, right there. Could have been 1-0 up for the Americans, but wait to see how this one pans out. But still on the AFCON, Cameroon head coach Clarence Seedorf, he believes the Super Eagles have what it takes to win the 2019 African Cup of Nations in Egypt. The former AC Milan star, who expressed his disappointment on his team's early exit from the competition, said the Super Eagles can go all the way in the competition. Quoting him now, he said, "We started the game slowly but grew into it. After we went ahead, we were satisfied with the scoreline instead of going for more goals. Nigeria have shown that they can score goals, and they did that against us," Seedorf told reporters after the game. Still quoting him, he said, "Nigeria have a good team and they can win the competition. They have the players that can win it for them," unquote. That's Clarence Seedorf right there. And Chidubem, Some of the teams we have called favorites have already crashed out of this competition. And now Clarence Seedorf has called Nigeria, or maybe tipped us to win it. Are we the lone favorites for the title, seeing we defeated the defending champions?
Definitely not. I don't think Cameroon were in the top four bracket when it comes to teams that were touted to win the AFCON this year. They are defending champions, but that counts for very little when you look at the quality in the side. No disrespect to the Cameroonian side. I've seen a whole lot of better Cameroonian teams. This one is a far cry of the strength of the Cameroonian team, I know. I mean, I don't want to look so back as the Mbomas and the Etos of this world. It's nothing close to...
Rigobert Song.
Exactly, it's nothing close to that. So it's a far cry, like I said, of the kind of solid teams I've seen the Cameroonian side, the Cameroonian nation rather, produce. So I don't think Nigeria will be the only nation based on that, because there's still Algeria in the mix. There is still Senegal there. And this to any day, anytime.
Still Ghana.
Ghana, nah. I wouldn't add Ghana to that bracket. I think genuine contenders will have to be Senegal, Nigeria, then Algeria currently. But then I'm thinking, just to add to what Reliance has said, really, I listened to what the post-match conference, like they would love to call it, after the game, and I listened carefully to Clarence Seedorf. I thought he was quite spot on with his opinion on the game, that the team kind of started slowly, yes, and they relaxed on the pace that they started with, and that was their major undoing. Their strength, I thought they overrated their strength, which is their defense in the second half. They felt the fact that they hadn't considered a goal in the tournament before that game, that would count for so much in the second half, because they resorted to defend in the second half, whereas they would have gone all out. I thought they would have kept, not going all out now, they would have kept the tempo of the game. Don't do anything differently. That's one thing that, I don't know, many African countries fail to do. When you're leading, the game is going nicely. You don't have to change your tactic. You don't have to do anything differently. Keep up with what you're doing. I mean, continue that way. You don't defend on 45 minutes. You don't defend on 60 minutes. It makes no sense. If you want to defend, you wait to the 80th minute. That's when the game becomes very crucial. And then you have to be very solid at the back. The Cameroonian team started laxing as immediately the blast of the whistle for the second half went up. And it made no sense. I thought they would have kept up with the pace of that game, and taking out Clinton Ije, like Reliance rightly stated, was proper nonsense for me, because he was clearly the best man on that pitch. If Odio Ngalo hadn't been nominated the best player, the next man in my mind would have been Clinton Ije. He was fantastic, and Ola basically struggled for 70 minutes to cope with that man. How do you take him off? It makes no sense. But I thought Clarence Seedorf, he's not the best of managers in my opinion. I think he's still learning on the job, and he will have a lot of time to better himself. But he made some very terrible decisions yesterday, right from the starting lineup. Horrible blunders that he had to live with. But quite unfortunately, he didn't have the chance to correct those errors, because the team ended up losing that game. But generally, Cameroonians, I thought the mistakes or their defeat yesterday was purely self-inflicted.
All right, ahead of the next game, the Super Eagles had a recovery session at the hotel this morning ahead of the Wednesday's AFCON 2019 quarter-final match against the Bafana of South Africa. Of course, South Africa qualified. We'll get into that shortly. Players who didn't play part in the game had a light session, while those that took part spent some time on the beach. The players and the team's backroom staff are expected to leave for Cairo after taking their lunch on Monday afternoon. And we'll be opening the phone lines almost immediately before we get to what happened in the other game, as much as the game that will be coming up by 5 p.m. That's the first round of 16 encounter for today. We'll be getting your thoughts on, of course, what happened yesterday between the Super Eagles and, of course, the indomitable Lions of Cameroon. Of course, we actually fed on the Lions. Our performance was far better than anything we have done so far in the tournament. 0817 0000951 081095100951. That is 0817 0000951. 0810-9510951. What do you make of the performance of the Super Eagles? Was it good, best, or just enough? Good evening, welcome to the Sports Live.
Yes, thank you very much.
Good evening, your name and where you're calling us from. All right, Jerry, straight to your point.
Thank you very much. Like that yesterday game, Nigeria won. I would say good, but not great.
Okay.
Like I had you play some people like singing, celebrating.
The Eagles, yeah.
Like this, I never do that. I can never celebrate it because they won.
Okay.
So it's like NEPA give me like 2 hours. At some point, I need to say off NEPA. No, I will say shame on you, NEPA. Shame on you, Minister of Energy. Shame on you, the whole system.
Jerry, but we beat Cameroon. Some people didn't give us a chance, and in an exciting fashion.
No, I want you to do something. Subtract the opinion of people like me, Obita and Co. that have been complaining that our performance is too poor. So that is for me. And see, it's why Eagles will ever make a greater impact. No, our performance is still below par. It's not good enough for Nigeria to be performing at this level. Look, Chelsea won a nation cup some time ago. But we know that team was not good. And the next two tournaments were not there. I've been complaining that General is not good. I've been complaining of Gallo. But remember now that there was a time that the Gallo was not invited to national team again. Since he came, look at his performance.
All right.
I don't know what to do.
All right.
I'm not finished now. Let me talk now, please. Let me talk about it.
Quickly, please.
Since he came back, you see, because he didn't receive call-up, he's under pressure. If he has been performing like this previously, I'm sure that Nigeria performance would have been better. Listen, this man has played for national team 32 times. He has scored 14 goals. Out of those 14 goals, there were 7 goals were from 3 matches. 7 from 3 matches. Remaining 7. Now, 32 minus 3, 29. It means that out of 29 matches, we scored 7 goals.
Jerry, 14 goals is good, be it in 1 game or 2 games. Good evening, welcome to the Sports Live.
Good evening, my brother.
Good evening, Simon.
Thank you. Please, I want to analyze the game against my Super Eagles that is Cameroon.
Quickly.
See, many of us, including myself, sometimes we question General, but since he got it right yesterday, first of all, I want to congratulate him. I hear some people saying yesterday that your players are not the coach. You still give kudos to coach himself. See, that match started very well. I want to tell somebody that here to know. If you like, go and reward that match. We started very well. We are dominating Cameroon. The time that Cameroon took over, what was the time they hit Ogen Tebo? They injured him, but he refused to go out. Maybe because no changes. He was managing, and that was when our midfielder, the Cameroon now started dominating the game. Dominating until they scored the 2 goals. Even when the second half started, they were still dominating. When we started dominating the game back, when the coach introduced Samuel Chukwueze, as he introduced Samuel Chukwueze, the Camerooners, because they knew him, we are trying. Every time he takes Samuel Chukwueze over, there will be like 3 people marking Samuel Chukwueze. So the thing now throws so many space for other players to run, and that is the reason why Odrigalo got that second goal, and even the last goal, because they forced their first tension on Samuel Chukwueze, and that is Kaisika. You know, that's why it's good for somebody to get enough anything to get a good bench, so that when it's time to change the game or to make something happen, he has players that will come out and make something happen.
Okay.
They were afraid of Samuel Chukwueze. That's why when they introduced him, Camerooners now, most of them, they were not attacking again because they focus. In fact, they don't disorganize Cameroonian defenders, and not because he dribbled the two more, but only his introduction,
his presence.
In fact, they were confused.
All right, Simon. All right, Simon. Thank you so much for your thoughts. Good evening. Welcome to the Sports Live.
Good evening,
Good evening. Please speak up a little bit. We can barely hear you.
All right. I'm somewhat excited for the game yesterday.
All right.
And kudos to Super Eagles. Kudos to Alex Iwobi, and the Gallo. You know, it is very, very necessary for we to get many prayer without the presence of a teacher who attract the three players. You know, when a teacher they have the ball, three players will focus on him, while the other players will be opportune to beat the team. Anybody that continue blaming our coach are making a mistake.
Okay.
I like what he did yesterday. Immediately Nigeria was in advance of the 3 goals.
Sorry, we seem to have lost him there. Call us back if you can. Good evening, welcome to Today Sports Live.
Yes, I bring you greetings from all.
Honorable Bina, welcome to the show.
Yes. Okay, let me first of all start by describing how displeased I was by the fact that we still have a coach up to 3 years that cannot, up to now, he does not know his full team. Okay, please tell who cares to hear that before he even brought in Samuel Chukwueze, we all, including you yourself in the studio now, we were even praying for him to even think straight for that yesterday. So bringing in Samuel Chukwueze was not anyhow a tactical change. It was what was expected. In fact, he learned from his last mistake against Madagascar. So I don't see the tactical brilliance in whatever he did yesterday. You know, it got to a point that you were even defensive. So what Super Eagles need now is individual brilliance. That they should forget the coach. And the players, I think they are playing that match with ERP, listening to the 5.1. They heard you, immediately you made that comment. They all stepped up that game and they never looked towards the bench. That was what happened yesterday. But Samuel Chukwueze, we all know that this is that guy supposed to be our poster boy in this very tournament. It's not the Samuel Chukwueze is supposed to be our poster boy if he's playing with a coach like the Brazilian coach that know what to do, when to do, and how to do it. So please, you should not make any mistake of giving Garnet any kudos. The guy saw the surface of Nigeria and decided to forget the coach and step up their game. Chelsea at the point in time got to a point that they were playing ball, that they were playing match without needing any coach. That's the condition that this current Super Eagles they are now. They just have to step up their game. If not, how come you brought in Paul Onachu when you have the for what the other guy is there, the guy that also play on the flank? You only change, not only Oyeku,
Samuel Kalu.
Samuel Kalu was the changes he was supposed to use to wind down that time yesterday and not Paul Onachu. Samuel Kalu, if he has introduced Samuel Kalu, the Cameroonians feel there will not have been any pressure because they will still be mindful of the threat of Samuel Kalu and Chukwueze.
All right,
so bringing for Onachu yesterday instead of Samuel Kalu, you cannot get deficiency.
All right, Obina, thank you so much. And Obina is saying we should not give any credit to Gernot Rohr. I want to ask the Super Eagles team who they would actually give credit for this victory. They actually did have this celebrative moment after that game. I tried playing an old one just before we kicked off the show. Let's take a listen to the feeling in the camp or in the hotel room after that victory. Well, of course,
this kind of celebration. You don't like say they win final.
Well, of course, I tell you, kudos they did give to Kanu Wankwo. They had to drag him in, of course. If you can see that video, maybe you just go to YouTube and see if you can find it. They dragged Kanu in, and Kanu was dancing with them, the likes of Samuel Kalu and all that. So, different strokes for different folks. Some feel Gernot Rohr had a lot of contribution. Some also feel Kanu Wankwo was part of it. Good evening, welcome to Today Sports Live.
Good evening. How are you again?
Hey, Stella West. Welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you. Please, I want to look at the defense line.
Okay.
And I want to look at Olai now. What will be a tougher position? That guy will fumble. That goal considered. He's supposed to, not this match. The one who consider the last match he played with Madagascar.
Okay.
He's supposed to bring that guy down. Of it to look at the front. He's the last guy. The guy has already beaten him. Bring him down. Either pull him through by the shirt, bring him down, and collect a yellow card. Because if we meet people like Senegal, the money, the guy will be penetrating through that way. And the guy is not too physical. So I think what they should do is look how they can draft one of our defensive midfielders to sometimes retrieve back, help him in that wing. And that's what General will be looking at. Our striking force, there's no problem. Our midfield, they are doing well. But that defense, that wing,
okay,
you should look at how they can support either a midfielder or maybe one of the, in fact, midfielder, because if you want the striker to come and defend, might concede the penalty. So the defensive midfielder should sometimes retrieve back to help in that way.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, otherwise. Good evening. Welcome to the Sports Live.
My brother, Simon Cover.
Simon, quickly.
Another thing I want to talk to our coach, General. See, tell your defenders, especially your central defenders, because I noticed that any time Kenneth Omero play with 2 seconds, a lot of mistakes. Yesterday, the blunder yesterday, any area ball, 70% of the area ball, Cameroon must be the people that win the ball.
They were taller now.
They're supposed to do. As they are standing flat set, he see ball on the air, and they are standing flat footed. He's supposed to defend. He's supposed to know what that place that you are standing, whether if he jump up, whether I can get that ball. So he's supposed to backstep that small before he jump up. And the other person, when the other person is going, the other person is supposed to draw back for him in case if he misses the ball, so that he will clear the ball. This is understanding that the two central defense are supposed to understand, and they're supposed to learn it between two of them on the training. It's not on the match day that will learn this thing, so that they will not use this to cost the team. They nearly cost the team yesterday because although they later enter the game very well at the second half, I don't know why they are doing like that. They are playing in good league, and they are, through seconds. Sometimes it will be one of the team of the week, best 11. So they're supposed to improve on that. It's the area ball. I don't know why area ball. Look at the 2 goals that Cameroon has scored. Kenneth Omero, the first one is supposed to clear on the air. No, but the second one, he jumped off the ball, passing. Yeah, it's a very big blunder.
All right.
So they're playing flat. They're playing flat defense yesterday. They called it flat defense, not LeBron defense.
Okay.
If LeBron defense, it will be better for them.
All right, thank you so much. We have a lot of coaches, I tell you. But of course, he did hear us and make some changes. Of course, Samuel Chukwueze, and of course, allowing Etebo to go a little up front, which gave Iwobi that chance to just back up Odion Igalo, which led to the goal. So just maybe he could hear you and stop playing flat defense. Good evening, welcome to the Sports Live.
Hello, good evening. I call by Nelson.
Okay, quickly.
Yeah, as I was saying before the line went off. When you see a child now with a father, you will see that the blood top will be different. And you will see a child that doesn't have a father, his character will not be the same. Anyone who continues blaming our coach are making a mistake, because without the same beat, the blood that yesterday, we wouldn't have been able to get to this level we are today. Our coach will remain the best. One thing about Nigeria players, Nigeria, is that we always in a hurry. We always having this hot temper that we cannot even express patience. That man has to do. Remember what he did in the previous time, and that is what he needs now. I'm so glory this to team that we have. Let us continue exercising patience for the next one now. We are believing that we are going to have the opportunity to carry the game.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much right there. And for the case of the next one, we move to almost immediately. Now, before that, the game between that's the round of 16 clash or encounters for today is about to kick off as we speak. Yes, 2 games are on today, and one is between Madagascar. Yes, the guys who beat us 2-0. They're facing DR Congo as we speak. We'll be bringing you some updates and commentaries live on that one, even as we go on the show. While, of course, by 8 p.m. tonight, Algeria will face off against Guinea. Just a little of the lineup of the Madagascar side. The guy who did score the goals for them was part of the goals. Andreas Simana is part of it. That's Andrea, as they did write on his jersey.